practically every one of the top 40 records being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children to take a trip, to cop out, to groove. The psychedelic jackets on the record albums have their own hidden symbols and messages, as well as all the lyrics of all the pop rock songs. And they all sing the same refrain. It's fun.
This is a special request. We don't want you to smoke genetically modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing. We want you to smoke the natural herb. Some call it marijuana, some call it sensimilla, some call it lamb's bread, and some people call it ganja.
Welcome to the Adam Dunn Show. I am your host. I can't say guest. I keep screwing that up. I'm your host, Adam Dunn. Some guy over here named Mitch.
Hey, guys.
He's hiding in the corner.
Hiding behind my box
behind
of hash.
His box of tricks. So, yes, we are starting the midweek, the hump day, as they call it.
First hump day of April.
Oh, my God, 1st of April.
Did you get any good April Fools on?
No, I just saw everybody was pregnant, basically. I think every
so
episode.
And you know what sucks really bad when you're actually pregnant and everyone's posting that shit and you're like,
dude,
I was at the midwife this morning. Don't say that shit.
Yeah, well, you did look a little little chubby there.
Yeah.
I noticed you were pregnant. Yeah, no, it's good. It's April Fools. When I was a kid, I used to love April Fools. It was like awesome. You woke up and you were just stoked. Dude. Now it's just like not even. Now it's just internet bullshit. Now it's like we don't have time to actually do a real trick. No real tricks allowed. Yeah. Just
you must have had some amazing classic April Fool's antics in your you're Adam Dunn.
It's funny because I don't actually remember any of them.
Come on,
I can't remember any good ones.
Faked your own. I always wanted to fake my own death.
Yeah, that's
and take it out way past where it was funny.
Yeah,
is that?
Well, that's a good one. I like that.
That's good.
And that's the whole point. Is it has to be something creative. It can't just be like.
No. Saran wrap over the toilet is still funny every single fucking time. Like the fucking.
I saw they had like 10 things you could quickly do before the end of the day.
White shirt and ketchup.
What's that?
White shirt, ketchup, and a knife.
That's it? That's all you need? Mm-hmm. Just stand around in the middle of the street.
Like,
April Fools.
I really like I
like those. I like that. April Fools gone wrong. That's probably the best combo right there. Because you know that happens all the time. It's not like it always goes well.
The other thing is I'm always suspect of every bit of Facebook. I just don't trust on April Fool's Day. Everything that's
I didn't even think about it, and then I was like, man, a lot of people getting pregnant today. And then I was like, wait a minute. Oh, and then somebody else made a post about it, like every fucking 1,700 bitches are pregnant on my.
Did you see Bubble Man?
No.
He was like, that's it. I've seen the light. I'm only doing BHO from now on.
Oh yeah, that's funny. That is funny. See, there you go, a little creativity.
Yeah, Scott said he smoked that. Scott's his roach joint that he's had for 2 years in a drawer. So he has this joint. That was, for a while, he was just smoking J's, and he kept all the roaches. And he took all the roaches, and he rolled them into one giant joint. And I mean, at some point, it was good weed, but it's just like the nasty ass-end roaches of it. So he has this joint in a drawer, and he's been saying he's going to give it as a surprise to someone at Cannabis Cup for 2 years now. It's 2 years old. But yesterday, he said he smoked it for April Fools.
Sounds gross.
It's pretty gross, man. He said it tasted like cherries and watermelons.
Yeah. Well,
April Fool.
Actually tastes like a shitty joint.
Shit.
I roach joint. I mean, remember when you were a kid and you would do that? Like you'd get an ounce and then you'd pre-roll all your joints and then you'd smoke half of them, like halfway down, and then you'd bag it up and then you'd take that one and then you go to the next generation and then you had like a third or a fourth generation.
Like zombie joints.
It was it was the grossest thing ever, but we were like, yeah, this is the 8th generation.
Super.
Just keep it rolling. Yeah. Those were the days, man.
Those were the days when we didn't know better.
We had no idea what the fuck we were doing.
No idea. But there weren't shows like this back then to inform people to the fact that roaches aren't as good as fresh weed.
No,
scientific fact.
True that. Well, if they were smoking dabs back in the day, then we could tell them that Reclaim is actually activated and pretty hardcore, but none of us want to smoke it because we're so used to the garbage, I mean,
the best part was remember resin? Remember when resin was something of a commodity at certain points? You're like, dude, he's got a pipe full of resin. We can just go scrape that thing and we're in.
Yeah, I had prototypes and stuff. I had prototypes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I had the other one too, the chamber, the little pregnant chamber. You get the double pregnant chamber. Yeah.
And they made the clear ones.
Oh, man.
Can
taste it already.
So I've always wanted to do, like, is it funny to do like a fake raid on Facebook on April Fool's Day? It'd be like, oh, so-and-so got raided. Like, is that funny or is that not funny?
I think about anything with fake raids and things like that. It's super bad karma right there. You know what I mean? You just know it. Because you're putting it out. You're putting it out there. You know, and that's the whole thing about manifesting anything. You can manifest good and you can manifest bad.
So you manifest like an opposite raid? You want to do a fake opposite raid where the police just brought...
they brought us a whole bunch of
all the plants that have been seized. They were like, we can't keep this anymore. We're bringing them all to Colorado and just giving them away to people.
Or like one cop brings a rig and then one cop brings the dabber and one cop brings everything. Oh, and then the one cop, they don't bring the nail and then the cop, I got the nail.
Yeah.
Man, these cops are great. Dude.
Yeah.
Look at this. They brought everything.
This is the best.
Because that's pretty much the only thing about, that's the whole main thing I say about dab culture that sucks is that you just have to have so much crap.
A lot
on
of stuff. It's like being a DJ.
Yeah, exactly.
You need a gear bag.
And then you end up with just missing the one element every single time. Like, went out to the farm the other day and got out there and they had a glass nail that just crap. Then it broke. So I was like, really? So broken nail. All this. We have everything that we ever needed except for that, you know. And you just can't like replicate a nail out of nothing, right? And,
right.
It's pretty hard.
You can't fabricate. Titanium.
A dabber, yeah, you can pull that off.
Paperclip for sure. The
anything
nail,
can become a dabber when necessary.
I mean, to some extent, a crackhead proves that anything can become a nail. Like you just need that. A soda can could become a nail if you really needed it.
Ouch, that would hurt. Haven't seen anybody dab off a soda can yet.
YouTube. It's on YouTube right now.
Yeah?
Yep.
There we go.
Absolutely. Kids don't have much like kids are opening light bulbs.
Yeah.
Put oil in the light bulb and torch it. Like, come on. Obviously that's not good for you.
Well, I don't know. That many meth heads can't be wrong, right? It has been proven over and over again. But yeah, no, it's always a sad state when you're working with the wrong tools. You know, it's always a rough one as far as, especially smoking too. When you have some real good oil and you have the worst equipment to smoke it with. Is this your boy?
Yeah, this is my boy.
Okay,
I think he's got some gear. Ready to pretend we're a real radio show.
All right, radio show. Hey
radio
yo!
Show.
Oh, there goes
was so cool.
This is so professional.
Austin, what's going on? So we have Austin Rabinoff in the studios from Blue Planet Environmental. Austin is the dude who last week, Adam, I brought you that super duper air stone that makes the nanobubbles, the nanobubble technology.
It's all about the nanobubbles these days.
Austin, and I mean, like, it's cool because I'll let Austin talk about it, but just from what I'm thinking as an organics guy, you know, if you can give me 5 times as much total dissolved oxygen, it's like turning my 5-gallon bucket into a vortex brewer.
Sure,
like, that's money. You're making all my stuff 5 times more potent.
How's it going?
How's it going? I'm Austin.
Adam, nice one. So we actually have a guest. This is pretty amazing. Usually we just sort of like we talk about the guest that never showed up because they got the wrong address. Because
they call their voicemail and shit.
I forgot to give them the South Bel Air instead of regular Bay. Oh, we're off in some other town. So welcome to the studio.
Thanks for having me.
And last week we got a chance to see the alien technology that you have in your possession. It seems to be. I was actually. I was glad you're here too, because one of the things I was concerned about was about heat from the pumps. Now, obviously, you've nailed that one, I hope, because that's pretty much the number one thing about any kind of pumps in water is once you get above a certain temperature, your oxygen levels drop. Everything kind of
right. We do have a system, so you don't have to submerge the pump. You can, and it doesn't generate a whole lot of heat. You know, it's nothing that's a huge concern unless you're really doing the like living soil style.
You can keep it external though.
You can.
Okay, that's good, because that's what I wasn't sure last time, and I went out looking for a 250 specifically, and it was like right below it and right above it. There was no actual 250 on that. So I was told. So I didn't want to put it all together and realize that I'm just bringing the temperature up again, as I was trying to avoid in the first place.
Right.
But I went through this years ago, like maybe 1996. I was trying to build my own like easy cloner kind of idea, and I just had the hardest time with finding any kind of pump that wouldn't raise my water temperature, because obviously when you're talking about cloning, it's really important you don't get it too warm.
Right. Absolutely.
And Yeah, it was just like I could not find a pump in Holland that would tone down like enough. You know what I mean? Except for an external pump, and then the external pumps were too big. So it was like I was in this.
And
like,
sometimes they leak too. You know, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and I was in this whole like, imagine using a giant external pump to run your 36 spot cloner. You know what I mean? It's like kind of little redundant at that point.
Right.
But cool. Like, so what's the name of the unit?
It's right. They just call it Nanobubble generator right now. It's sold as the Hydro Bloom currently for traditional agriculture, but we're rebranding it for this market out here.
Hey.
Got some guests in studio.
Wow.
Adam just got handed a very important looking binder.
Nice.
So I'll keep talking to Austin while Adam
Yeah, you
peruses
keep
the goods.
exactly. I'm going to peruse.
So Austin, why don't you first of all break out this badass pump? Because I told Adam, like, even if this thing sucks, you're getting the best pump that I think I've seen.
Great, yeah.
And like I said, if you're an organics nerd, you definitely appreciate strong pumps, you know, for whether you're bubbling teas or airlifting or whatever. So it is submersible, but it says submersible on it, but you saying you can run it outside for sure?
This particular one, no. It's a little different system that runs outside of it, but we can supply that as well.
Cool. But yeah, there's these like I thought I got the most badass pump because I went into the grocery store and I got the most badass one they could order, and this thing is supposedly puts that one to shame. Look at that plug on there. Yeah, that's heavy.
It's all about the magnets, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, same with audio equipment and things like that. It's just like, even to this day, we like to have a little bit of substance to our items here. That thing's a mess. That's a machine.
Couple extra of these for you.
Wow.
And you know, it takes a lot of force to get it to really work because it's basically, you know, it's shredding the air right into the water, and you're getting, I mean, you can see the bubbles in suspension. They're so small,
right?
And they'll stay in suspension for, you know, good 15 minutes plus after you even stop running the pump.
That's awesome. And with this kind of, is there cleaning involved, or does it tend to? Now, is this only with water, never with nutrients?
Oh no, you can have nutrients in there and everything.
It doesn't make it too foamy, for instance, like some.
No,
because there's some nutrients out there that are like. There's that Humboldt one. You know that they sell it at the counter. It's real thick.
The Humboldt honey stuff.
Spray. It's the spray stuff. They have a I can't remember the name, but it's Sea Green. You know, Sea
Green? Yeah.
Man, that stuff. You hit like a drop of that stuff into your res, and it will literally foam like
that stuff
stack.
is insane.
It stacks and stacks, which I actually kind of like. To me, it sort of seems like something's going down there. You know, whenever I see foam. It kind of seems like proteins or something.
Some reaction is happening.
Because there's something that's grabbing to each other.
It's they say it's either saponins, which is like soapy substances. So that's like your spreading agents, wetting agents.
Sure.
So that's creating everything. Or it's those proteins, or it's, you know, microbial life producing CO2. Ooh. Or it's friggin' nanobubbles, which are really cool.
And how long has this been on the market? Or
it's actually not on the market yet. It's
still testing it, bud.
Not on the market. I love that.
For you.
Still in the prototype stage, working on redesigning it a little bit, maybe perhaps making out of a different material. I know they're looking at a couple different things right now.
And is this the only size, or is there bigger sizes now?
That's the only size. Okay. However, you can set them up in like a multiple unit array. One of them is good for up to about 70 gallons.
Okay, that's awesome. And then is there any specific, just like to the bottom of the thing, all the way to the bottom? Is there any kind of
as close to the bottom as you can get it, and then you have the air line comes out at the top there.
Right. And is there a specific size on the pumps that you need to do this, or does it like?
I mean, we really do recommend
this
particular pump.
The air pump itself.
Oh, no air pump. It's just it's just passive.
Okay,
once this starts flowing water into it, that's part of the genius of it. You know, you don't need any additional equipment.
Okay,
it puts it through with so much force. As soon as you turn it on, you can hear the air just getting sucked in there like a jet engine.
Nice. We love jet engines.
Engine. It looks even kind of a little like a jet engine.
Do
you want to explain how it works, Austin? Like, explain sort of the...
Well, basically, you know, as it's forcing the water in through the inlet, the air is coming in through the air inlet, obviously. Inside, you have basically where it's all spiraling together, and it uses, what do they say, like pressure differentials, essentially, to just take the air and just shred it into tiny, tiny little bits. And out of the top and the bottom you basically get this constant stream of just tiny, tiny, tiny little bubbles that, again, they end up staying in suspension. And because of the increased surface area, as opposed to a traditional air stone, you have large bubbles coming up through. You're getting some gas diffused into your water, but not a whole lot from a large bubble. But when you have a lot of little bubbles, the surface area is huge. Exponentially greater,
right?
And the dissolved oxygen you end up getting in there is pretty outstanding. The research and development is out of Canada, and they have several greenhouses for traditional agriculture, lettuce, tomatoes. They've also done it. They've used this technology in shrimp farms. Has a lot of other applications as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say for fish and stuff. Obviously, if air stones work,
right? It's great. It's great for aquaponics.
Right.
They've also used it in non-agricultural applications, like the Millennium Hotel has a couple of units hooked up for their laundry system, and it reduces the amount of water you need to use.
Sure, I think that's kind of like the way a lot of technologies are going now. They're figuring out that even just adding air to a lot of different systems seems to reduces because basically a lot of times it's we don't need as much as we're doing, especially like you think about old cars, how you fill them up with gas and the gas just pours through and just burns off, and most of it's getting most of it's not being used properly.
Right.
Then if you all the new technologies are just oxygenating the gas, and then that makes it that much more efficient because it's burning off quicker. And there's not just slapping it on there. So I think it's it's just a good. I mean, efficiency is obviously one of the most important things in growing, and that's where we're as a state. We need to step our game up a little bit because it's the worst part of our industry is the fact that we're wasting so much power.
Dude,
and
I saw this figure, man. This one, I was actually ashamed. I was like, oh, to produce a pound of pot takes something like 300 times as much energy as it takes to make a pound of friggin' aluminum.
Right.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We need to step it up with the efficiency and
I think one of the main things is that Colorado should be adopting way more greenhouse adaptations.
Sunniest state in the union.
I mean, there shouldn't be any kind of worries about it's zoning and in this. I mean, really, every single rooftop in this place could be utilized. You know what I mean? Not just for cannabis, but for everything. It's just one of those things where I'm like, wow, what a weird system that we have. We have these giant warehouses that we're gonna air condition and heat and light up.
It made sense when you're trying to hide.
Yeah, exactly. Back in the day,
not anymore.
Clandestine, it makes sense. And the thing is that a lot of times I think now they're just trying to protect the public. They don't want the public to see this plant growing. And it's I think that's the actually opposite. They should not try to make it sound like such a dangerous thing. It has to be behind closed door. It's actually just start looking at it. You know what I mean? You start looking at it, you'll see this plant, and you're like, oh, okay.
It's just a plant.
It's not like it hasn't been here already.
Yeah.
It's been a cornerstone of the economy here in Colorado for
Well, and it's going to happen. I mean, now that the hemp is going to start to grow, people will start to see fields of hemp, and they'll start to get over that hump finally and be like, well, look, there it is. It's I used to have a plant out in front of my shop in Amsterdam all the time, and it was interesting to see the reactions of people when they're just seeing the plant. That's all it was.
The 5-bladed, 7-bladed leaf.
And they come up the street and they see this 12-foot tall plant out in front of my store, and I don't think I ever got a problem with it, except from the cops who didn't understand that it was hemp and they thought it was cannabis, and they give me a hassle, and I say, but look, I have a hemp store. I'm doing hemp. This is a hemp plant. It's legal. I'm growing it. No big deal, right? And after a while, they got used to it. But then there was one day when they decided that it was terrible. It was bad. The cops came and said, this is a really bad representation for Holland. And I was like, how does that work? You know what I mean? Watch these people. They roll up. They'll stand in front of the plant. They'll smile, take a photo, laugh, and walk away. That is hardly a bad image. Go across the street.
That's a pretty good look right there.
Go across the street. You have animal porn in the window. So I don't think it's I think at that point you pretty much could be like, oh, look, hey, what's that, Daddy? Oh, that's a sheep. It's that's not really going to be such a good look either. You know what I mean?
It's not a good look.
Well, you see the same thing here with the alcohol industry. Obviously that's also a great cottage industry in Colorado, and microbreweries and everything have really taken off here. But I don't understand how it's not okay for somebody to see a plant growing. Or people, kind of laughing, giggling, stoner stereotype, I guess. But, as opposed to walking down the street in Lodo, I see kids down there at night and everything, walking right by people that are hammered, falling all over themselves.
Yeah,
you know?
and also
and brewing beer like right outside their large breweries.
Well,
that are
right,
a
and
cornerstone.
sitting next to your giant vats,
Yeah.
making alcohol, which is, you know what I mean,
like sitting there eating French fries while they're
No big
brewing.
deal. No
Dads drinking 16 different kinds of beers in a flight. Juniors eating the fish sticks, and everyone's happy.
Exactly.
And Colorado makes money, and the wheel keeps turning. Like
Right. It's amazing, and it's gonna come. I mean, it's just basically it's everybody growing up, basically, and you know, reality of the fact that we're in the state that, you know, has accepted it to a point, but then there's this whole, now we got to get past the part of like, oh, okay, well, actually, we're not going to treat it like alcohol at all. We're going to treat it like completely like uranium, spent uranium.
Well, and that's an excellent segue if you want to keep BSing for 8 minutes until our next segment.
Oh, we have segments now?
Yeah, well, that's
wow, I didn't know
it's
this.
kind of, they're like blank. They're broken up into 15-minute intervals. There's nothing written there, but they're there.
Okay, we have
they're there in my
intervals
head.
of blankness.
But we're going to get Warren Edson in here to talk about the new bills that are coming up.
Oh yeah, this
proposed bills.
We're not even we're not gonna give it too much thought at this point.
Is this where
I'm not gonna help this out too much. We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
And we're gonna tell everybody this is a load of crap because
Right.
it is, obviously.
Right.
But we're definitely not gonna give him too much of our time because we don't want. We'll give Warren as much time as he wants.
Yeah, we'll let
Just
Warren.
that particular bill. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's
Like, come on
just
now.
grimy. It's grimy.
It is.
And it's not. It doesn't help anyone the way it's written.
Which-
There's a
which
way to
one are
write
you
it
referring to?
constructively. Just, you know, we dare not speak its
Segue.
name. As we'll just say, Adam's a dad. I'm about to become a dad, and now we're concerned.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay, let's say
Austin,
since
we got some-
since we got that,
wanna
let's
rip
do
that, I'll
a
solve it.
let's do a
Let's
Oh, I'm
quick.
good, dude.
You want to do shout-outs?
Let's do a quick shout out because that kind of kills a little time, and plus we need to
Yeah.
because it's part of our.
It's no half hour. That's
It's
what
how-
I was about to say.
That is how we run the show. From our great sponsors,
Excellent
like Way to
sponsors.
Grow. Way to Grow, #1 sponsor for here at the Adam Dunn Show. Any growing needs, I'm sure they'll be the first ones with the nanobubbles on the market.
Better believe it.
Not sure, but I'm making it happen
sure.
right now. We're
Yeah,
making it
we're
happen.
sure.
We'd love to have them. Yeah.
We're making it happen. But Way to Grow, 6 locations all over Colorado, more on the way, I'm sure. And the biggest one, and biggest and newest being here in Denver, it's at South Platte River, 1510, and it is huge.
And if they don't have it, that's one thing that you got. Because a lot of people are like, well, I shop at my place because Way to Grow doesn't.
Yeah.
Corey can get it.
No, he'll get it.
Go there, tell them that Adam Dunn Show sent you, and you want this, and they'll get whatever it is, and they'll probably beat your guy up on the price a little too.
Probably. And or just treat you really good. So, but no, thank you very much for sponsoring the show. And like I said, if you got any growing needs, that's the place to go. 11 years experience, shops all over, and they deliver. So if you have, that's the nice part too. Now we're in this world where we can actually have all our stuff just delivered, you know, which if you're not worried about it, then it's awesome because that's one of the biggest pains in the asses about growing in general is you constantly need stuff.
That you not
always-
only have to be a gardener but a spy as well. And
well,
you're
yeah,
like-
then you get there and you go there for one thing and you come home with like everything but the thing you went there for. Just like going food shopping when you're really high.
hungry.
Yeah, you don't do that. Don't do that because you're like, wow. What was I going there for? Oh, toilet paper. Damn. And you get home and you got all this food and no toilet paper. You know, that's the story.
It's cool to see all the innovation too. You
Oh,
know?
awesome.
I mean,
And
really,
it-
with LEDs coming around and that technology being perfected as well, I think will be a big change for the
and the
industry.
315s.
Lighting. This year is a big lighting year. We've noticed that. Double-ended Gavitas and E-Papillons, and then the 315 ceramic metal halides.
So I heard about a double-ended 315 in the works. Is this true?
I don't
Dude,
know.
that was some like Hood Lab backroom chatter.
Could be. I mean,
Because that's what I'm holding out if that's happening. Because I want that.
there's so much cool stuff coming out now. It's pretty interesting. It is one of those situations though too. It's like buying an iPad, or an iPod or something, and you're like, oh, I'll just take that one, and then you get there and you're like, wait a minute, but for this much more, I could have this one, and then by the time you're done, you've gotten the top of the line, of course, because you went in there to spend $100, spent $600, came out like, wow, that was a little bit painful.
But look at what I got. But then once you get it all wired up,
and then a
you're
week later, it's like
2 months in,
they're like,
the new one's out.
Yeah, they're like, oh, well, you got that.
And the one you got is only $500 now. And,
Exactly. Never
So
ending.
act now, go
But
to Way
the-
to Grow though, and they will take care of you.
Yeah, well, the nice part about growing too is that it's in general, even though you spend a bunch of money on this stuff, you really feel like you know it's going to bring back, and that's a really cool, very rare in this world to have a hobby.
And
that
I'll tell you
actually
what,
can
man,
bring back. You know,
I wish when we're talking about efficiency, I would love to see. There's a lot of the suboptimal areas of your grow room, the corners and shit, where you're like, I'm not going to put a plant there; it's just going to larf out. Throw some tomatoes in there. Throw some peppers in there. Grow yourself some food in your tent, in your basement, whatever. If you're not going to put a plant there and there's light there, don't waste that light.
Yeah, as long as they're not vectors for some other bugs and stuff.
Yeah, make
Well,
sure
the opposite could be true too.
They could also
you can grow some great plants that can help with pest control as well. Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, usually, the best thing, and a lot of times, it's not even about control as much as give them a sacrificial plant to just go after.
Dude,
that tastes a little tastier than the cannabis plant that you don't want them to go after. And they will, especially like white flies and stuff. I mean, you put a basil plant in there, white fly will be attracted to it in a heartbeat. So if you happen to have a white fly in the room, it's almost like an indicator. He comes,
that's what they call pest indicator species.
It'll land onto your basil there. So no, for sure. I mean, imagine how much wasted light is in all these mega grows that are out there now too.
I always was like, let me throw solar panels on the floor. There's going to be some
on the walls. Yeah, I was just thinking like that was my big thing back in the day. It was never cost effective, but like just to like line all your 4 walls of your grow with solar, and then passively run all your fans and pumps and all that
off your
that.
wasted light. Yeah,
because
it's so diminishing the conversion from light to electricity. But we're getting there.
Yeah, and you've seen the printable ones,
solar cells.
Yeah, those are pretty awesome. I mean, you haven't seen those? Get some special ink, you put it in your printer, and then it basically is it's got metal in the ink.
Yeah.
So it creates a little grid on your piece of paper. Now you can take that piece of paper, and it'll have like a positive and a negative, and you hook your wire up to there and your wire up to there. And now you have a solar panel.
Really?
Yeah. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
They're talking on material now and on clothing and stuff. So that's when it becomes interesting, when they can actually print it cheap enough. Because that's the problem. It's always cost. It's like, so how much do I have to spend? I have to spend $80,000 to save how much power and how many
It was
years?
like the first generation LEDs. And you're like, this is going to save me like 12 cents on electricity a month. And it costs like 10 times as much as my lights.
Yeah, it's one of those, it doesn't balance out yet. But when it does, that's game changer right there.
Even hybrid cars are just getting there.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, like that new, on that Prius or whatever, I think it's on the Prius, they have that whole roof. It's all solar.
Oh, that's cool.
And all it runs is one fan inside your car.
Solar cells
like one
kind of suck. That's
fan.
the problem.
One little air fan that moves the air around your thing.
But as I've been saying to a lot of people, man, like
a tractor trailer truck should have just solar panels. That whole top should be a solar panel. It's like
to
flat,
run
like,
a little fan.
To run 2 fans.
2 fans because it's bigger.
Because it's a big. They need one over there. No, but they could. I mean, it's all about the amount of space.
You could probably charge your cell phone off of that at very least. You know
I would
what I mean?
hope so.
And as that gets more and more, who knows?
By the time they figure that out, then wireless will be all ready to go, and we'll be like, well, now we just pump that. And
just like Tesla was doing it 100 years ago. Yeah,
exactly.
They'll figure it out again.
Exactly. Speaking of which, let's do one more shout out for another major sponsor.
Yes, sir.
Incredibles.
Yes.
Incredibles Edibles, #1 edible company in Colorado.
Tesla connection.
Westward voted #1 edible company this last time, and Best of Westward.
Best of Westward 2014.
So,
congratulations,
guys, on that. Chris knows every single flavor, but I don't think he can remember today.
Do it.
Come on.
Do it. I want to try. I'm going to try. I'm going to try. There's Peace Dream. There's the monkey banana joint.
Oh my God!
You
failed. Not the monkey banana joint is not how it's called.
Monkey bar. There you go.
Yeah.
And then the only one you need to know is the Fireberry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fireberry.
That's it. Don't worry about any of the others. You just eat one square of the
worry about them all.
Worry about them all, of course.
Eat them all at once. Try to
don't eat them all at once.
Stack them up. That's what I tell everybody. Stack,
dude,
all
and they're
flavors,
good. I mean, like
a giant Dagwood.
You can do a lot with a chocolate bar. You can
a can of Dagwood.
Put in a s'mores, make a can of Dagwood, whatever.
Can of Dagwood. I'm telling you, that's a new thing. Should have them do that for the cup.
Well, are we going to do the
Dabberry
eggs?
If they stacked them all and put a toothpick through it and then cut them like hors d'oeuvres. Oh,
that'd be nice. Yeah.
Man.
That would be cool.
Triple stackers.
Yeah. So do you want to do Dabberry eggs? Because it's getting low. So we could do it with them. Where's getting?
Yeah. Let's get on it.
At least like 100 people are going to know about them because people listen to this. I'm ready, dude. I have the recipe. I don't have the recipe. I have a recipe that may or may not work.
Incredibles are available at hundreds of stores
all over Colorado. Are they the best-selling brand? I think they're the best-selling brand in Colorado.
I believe so. At this point, they are killing the game.
Dude. They were one of the only ones that came back as legit in that.
I know.
Study
more than
recently.
legit.
Beyond legit.
They were the only one that. Yeah, there was one. There was one other one. I forget what the other one was. There was one other one that.
Well, no, there was other guys that were really legit as far as like
on point
101 instead of 100.
But Incredibles was like. You paid for $1's worth, and you got $1.50's worth.
Yeah, right. That's what everybody reads. That's how the average guy reads that one. Yeah. It's like, well, that's a 156 instead of 100. That sounds like a good one to me, right there.
Yes, sir.
Other ones didn't sound so good.
No.
There was some,
But
Yeah, there were
not
some in there
only are they
that
strong-
I'd be a little upset if I'd been dropping good money on that for a while.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not only are they strong though, incredible the taste. So, like I said last week, dude, like
Maybe the
they're
name
my
describes
favorite
everything.
candy. They're my favorite. Like if it's like, oh, do you want to go get a fancy candy bar at the store, or do you want to go get an Incredibles delicious bar? Like that, I wouldn't necessarily reach for Fireberry for deliciousness because it's so small. Even though it has like 300 milligrams in there.
Yeah, and they're a little burny sometimes because you're
Yeah,
like,
but like the, as I like to call the banana monkey joint, that thing is delicious. No one makes a banana candy bar. You can get them maybe in Boulder for like $15 without any THC in them. Come on,
Banana, coconut, and walnuts.
there you go.
man,
You
Chris
work
is like
there?
Chris is like an
did you-
expert. He's an expert,
True connoisseur.
True.
Chat room talking.
a true connoisseur.
Streets be talking right now.
People not showering is all I see.
Yeah.
Who's that about? Who's that about?
This is hi. Dude never showers.
Cool.
Can smell me from there. I'm
Yeah.
amazed.
It's at least once a week, dude.
Oh yeah, yeah.
At least it's not never.
Yeah, that's
It's not never.
Never's
I would notice never.
So, all right, Mr. Segway.
Segway, 12 o'clock. If we could, it's noon. Do we have anyone else to shout out right now? A sponsor tip?
Well, you know, we got our guys over there in Boulder, Boulder Wellness.
Boulder Wellness, there we go. Remember in the third one.
5420 Arapahoe. isn't it?
Arapahoe,
Good
yep.
numbers. 5420 Arapahoe.
Right,
About 2 more weeks. They're about to go rec. So if
They're ready to do
you're-
it. Have you talked to Nick?
I've talked to him a bit. Yeah,
Nice.
he's. I mean, I think everybody's trying to get in on the same time, around the 15th. Could be a week. Could be a week later. Who
Gonna
knows?
be
But it's gonna,
total madness.
it is madness. It's interesting to see how many agendas are being put together at the same time. And it's like, and I don't even like. I'm like kind of.
If
over
this
it.
was comic books, dude, it would be like that crossover mini series where everyone hatches their plan at once.
Yeah, no, it is true, and it's like there is. I mean, actually, there's something I saw yesterday, and I know it's got to be crap too. Did you see this?
Are we still talking about Nick?
No.
No. Well, let's finish shouting out Boulder Wellness.
Oh my God, Boulder Wellness.
Come on.
They owe me a lot of weed actually, so I don't know. It's one of those tough ones. They
Don't
owe-
say that.
They gotta give me weed.
We'll get the weed. We're gonna keep shouting. That's why we're doing the shout outs.
Shout outs once again. If he listens to every single episode in a row, he'll notice that I have never missed a shout out.
I know.
Never missed a shout out. Boulder Wellness, worth the drive up from Denver. I got people driving up every single day on the daily.
Dude,
Special.
and like it's really
It's worth it.
I know you've been in his grow. I've been in it's probably
it's-
the nicest grow I've seen in Colorado.
It's clean and it's organic based, and everything is like on point.
he knows his shit.
Yeah, no, he never lets in. It's like
I tested him, but he quarantined.
Yeah?
He kept his shit clean. Yeah, I mean, I didn't intentionally test
what
it.
you
but
tested him wasn't bad. Just they gave him some bad juju.
There was a little bad juju on a clone that I got for him. See, that's the problem with sourcing clones for people is like, guys, I get them for you. Like, I don't keep them. Like,
Yeah.
it's not my garden. It's the dude who gave it to me. But yes, there was some bad juju. He caught that shit.
Good.
And
That's good. That's good. No, I was gonna say, have you seen this? It's got to be bullshit. Have you seen this tester?
Did you see it yesterday when
Yeah.
it was April Fool's Day? Okay.
Oh, there it is. That must have been it.
But go ahead.
Yes.
Go
Yeah,
ahead. Finish
I
your
wondered
sentence,
about that
dude.
myself.
That VX tester thing you saw.
Yeah,
is
it
it?
was supposed to be to be able to take your
It was a
test,
very
test all these different
If it was
parameters.
an April Fool's, it was a very elaborate April.
I was
Yeah.
going to do a super elaborate one.
It was elaborate. It looked awesome.
Can I tell you what my elaborate
I
one
wanted
was?
it.
I was going to make a fake, like a Netflix for glass.
Yeah.
And just like post it, have the fake site, blow it up, buy Facebook ads, everything.
Yeah.
And then I was like, that would be like the biggest
Waste of money.
Yeah. It would be funny. People
it
would
would
like,
be
give me their
funny.
credit card numbers and shit.
Yeah. There you go.
Cover it. So what is this thing? It tests
no, he blew it for me. Now that I realized it was April Fool's, I was like,
It might not
what
have
does
been.
it test?
Like I said, I mean, I only briefly glanced at it, and I couldn't tell. Nothing right off told me that it wasn't real. No, that's not saying. I mean, even if it is real, then does it work?
It was hoverboardish to me. Actually,
What does it do?
Okay.
It was very hoverboardish.
What does it detect?
Everything. You take cannabis, you put a little piece in, slide it in the thing. It tells you everything about it.
Oh,
Like a CG, like you have a portable CG on you everywhere you go.
yeah. I mean, like, I've heard of that before yesterday, so
you?
it's probably not just an April Fool's joke. But I mean, dude, look at anyone who has those portable GCs. Like,
Dude, this
you
thing-
need a GC.
Well, the funny thing is, at first when they said that they're going to come out for $200, that was the part.
April Fools.
And then it said the first ones would be $200, but then it would go up to the normal price of $4,890.
Whoa! Oh, so they're doing it.
Okay.
Well, sign up now.
I didn't
bud.
see that part.
I'll tell you.
I don't know. How could they give you a $5,000 thing for $200? Even if you got, I mean,
It's a loss leader.
They
You
could
could do
not
it.
cover. You think so?
Yeah, you could do it.
You should see this thing. It's ridiculous.
So, but
it's
like
all-
I know they definitely
there's
have
a lot of
these
hardware
things.
involved.
They have
Pretty
these
big. That's a
things
pretty
where-
substantial discount. That's more than a loss leader. That's like sink your company loss leader.
Well, I mean,
Hey, we don't have any idea. What
we
we're
don't know
doing.
how much these things cost. I'm assuming they probably cost these guys like $200, or even better, like $100 of Chinese hardware.
Let's see.
Yeah, pull that up.
What was the name of it? I don't remember now.
Plant scan.
I saw a brief thing on Facebook. That's
so weird.
what
caught
it
it as I was scrolling
Someone
through.
in the chat room's got us on this. Hit us with a link, guys, if you're listening and you know what Adam's talking about.
It's something.
I believe that it's something, bud. I believe that it's something. But I mean, I know I've seen like on these crowdfunding things, they have like a thing that plugs in your iPhone that can detect malaria, and that shit's legit without breaking your skin. Like it just scans you, and with like nano waves, and it checks the refraction index of the nano. Like kind of crazy stuff is starting to get possible that is small and portable and can detect complex things. I'm not saying I
Could be sniffer technology too, because that's big now. That whole sniffer stuff. You know, they have those. Did you see? Remember the thing, the ridiculous thing we saw?
the nasal ranger
the
thing.
nasal ranger.
Ranger,
Yeah. I was looking and picking one of those
And
up.
that didn't seem real to me either. I was like, this has got to be a joke, right? And then I was like,
that thing's totally real.
Dude, I was
I
looking
know.
at the
And
manufacturer's
that
website
was-
because they do like custom joints, and I want to set up like imagine if you had an array of jars on a carousel, and you just had like the nasal ranger, and you're just like, oh yeah, like I got that. That would be. That's what I'm talking
Just
about.
that thing reminded me of Futurama.
Yeah, super Futurama. Oh, nasal rangers. What will they think of?
Do
next?
they still trying to peddle that app on the App Store that they had people convinced was going to turn your iPhone into a gram scale?
oh yeah, and I remember that too.
Dude, that I
It's
met
so,
one
dude, well, there was
guy.
one. No, there was one. And
Did
it
you
was
meet
like,
the guy with the ring?
What?
No, see the finger ones. No, there's a dude. Who knows if he's out there? This guy Mike Biggio. He used to work for Pink House, and he had an awesome thing where like you put a ring on your finger, and there was a magnet, and it automatically hung like perfectly balanced. So it worked, dude. Like I was highly impressed with this thing.
Interesting.
Magnets and phones don't sound like a great idea.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. It's not an awesome combination, but it was impressive.
I can't find this thing. I don't remember what it
So April Fools.
What was it called? VX something, right?
I caught a blurb about it going through my
Chat
news
room,
feed.
help us, please.
VX. I don't know.
Someone's gonna like message this to us somewhere in second hour. Hey, we're in a second hour now. Look at that.
We're in the second hour.
We're in the second hour of the Adam Dunn Show.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
We're live here
Live.
with Austin Rabinoff from Blue Planet Environmental, and we are going to bring in Warren Edson. I wonder if he'll just hear that and walk in, or we should like go get him, or he might be doing some important actual like lawyer stuff right now.
That's all right. We can chit chat for a few more minutes, and we'll take a quick break. And then during the quick break, we'll drag him
That's
in here,
perfect.
and then make him.
It is about that quick break time, and
almost.
a little bit, yeah.
Do we still not have a nail here?
We're not in second hour. We're in we started like way late. I forgot about that part.
Terrible timekeeper you are.
I'm not. I just make the schedule, man. I'm not running the clock.
If you saw our schedule, you
the
realize
blank schedule.
it has nothing on it.
Dude,
just
it's
an
got
empty
way
page.
more than last week's schedule, which
My
I
schedule-
found a schedule over there, and that's what gave me the idea. And I was like, oh, that's for the whole radio station. Our thing just says The Adam Dunn Show, 11 to 1.
Yeah.
So it's definitely
Which we've
detailed.
never done. We never do that. It's 11:30 to 1:30 now. We've adopted.
Or in some cases, 11:45-ish.
Nah, 34 I think is probably the latest I've come in. I'm good. Today I woke up at 10:45, and I live about 45 minutes away.
You just walked
so-
in and sat down and got on the radio today.
Yeah, so I was
pretty
like,
impressed.
I woke up, looked at my clock, and was like, if I get up right now and don't do anything except just run out the door, I will basically make it. So that's what I did. I left everybody behind. I had all these people ready to come with me, and I was like, nope, you're not coming. You're too slow. I could just tell. It was like it was that kind of morning.
You got to do that special forces style. I did that on the flight to Amsterdam for Cannabis Cup. I was like, dude, I got to go. Flight. Just let them search
God,
it. You
go.
know, it's cold, but
Yeah,
you know,
got to do it,
you
right?
got to do it. That's the difference.
Team leader.
Yep. So
Leave everyone behind. That's what you do when you're
solo mission.
team
all
leader.
out.
You guys forget about it.
Yeah.
I'm on. Yeah. So,
But here you are, made it on time.
made it on time on the show. Yeah, this is interesting because for me, as anybody who knows me, I'm a terrible.
Me saying like, "Hey, made it on time."
I'm
The guy
terrible.
who's literally never been here on time on the show
Yeah.
till today, and I was early for once. So
Yeah.
now I'm talking shit.
Anybody who knows me knows I'm never on time usually at most of my things. I tried to be, but this is something I feel obligated. I have to because people are out there. Thousands of people are listening to the show.
Dude, like tens of people listen to it live. Thousands of people,
Tens of
hopefully
people.
in podcast format in the near future,
Hey,
will listen to it.
Don't make everybody bummed out. They thought thousands of people were listening. Now
What?
they're all. Look,
I feel like
I'm
it's
watching the numbers
special.
drop.
I
as we
feel
speak.
like special when I
Millions.
There was millions. There was millions.
Oh, you're right.
Millions.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
I read the
Until-
comma
until
wrong.
you
I
said
thought
that.
decimal. I thought that comma was a decimal.
There you go. There you go. Millions of people, millions of viewers, and listeners
And listeners live, so
Live.
you can't disappoint him, and that's why Adam rushed 45 minutes down the hill
with nothing.
with nothing, and
I
fulfilled
was the
that.
one
But I
that made
did
you
listen-
late last week.
Yeah, that's true. That's why I was late last week.
Up in Boulder. Didn't you say you had to be somewhere at 11:30 in Denver? Yeah. Well, it's 11:30 now.
Yeah.
Wow.
I made it though. I always make it now, but I'll tell you what.
Not soon though. Baby comes and you're going to be like Mr.
We're gonna figure out how to
Good.
simulcast, and you'll have a screaming baby in the background.
That always works really well. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. This is a great formula. This is the formula everyone wants to listen to.
Yeah, who doesn't love it?
I mean, pretty much that's why people call me because they want to hear, crying baby.
It's like a
That's-
soundboard. It's like a. It's
It's soothing. I fall
Well, the good
asleep,
part is-
fall asleep to a white noise machine in that.
And then the funny part though is like with Nick, he used to say he won't. He's not a big screamer.
He's
or
not a
nothing.
screamer. I've never
But
seen
but
him
of course, when the phone rings and he knows you're on the phone, and then he's like on your leg and he's hanging on you, then it's like all right, it's time to go. Sorry, please, But
Something is literally demanding my attention right now.
100%. And then that will segue us to a shout out to little Nick,
The family.
DJ Nick up on the hill.
Dude, I saw another kid like playing music on the internet.
Yeah.
Sucks compared to Nick. He's really got something going there.
I know. I saw last night there was in Brooklyn. It's a big deal now to have baby DJ courses.
Really?
And stuff. Yeah, it's really, really. And there was this one kid that was okay, and he was the one that started the whole thing. As far as this one person, so this chick saw that this kid was pretty into it. But I was definitely watching like, Nick crushes him.
He has the showmanship down, like
Yeah.
in the timing, and he's really like that's the thing is he knows when to hit. Everyone knows what the buttons. Not everyone. Some kids know what the buttons do. He knows when to hit the buttons, and that's what
when.
makes the difference.
Major. So once again, shout out to Nick and Cece up there hanging in all up on the hill there.
And I gotta definitely give a shout out to Reese, who I believe is listening this week.
Yes.
Because I left my laptop at home. She can't listen on the iPad. You can't listen to our show on an iPad.
Yeah, you can. You have to get puffing.
Puffin. I had no idea. She was not puffin. Chin puffin.
She's not puffing these days.
No. But she's listening, and she's there, and her daughter is apparently hearing my voice.
This is absolutely the perfect segue
Into
to the next story.
To the next story.
When we get Warren, when we'll be back in 5 minutes
Yeah,
with
that's
our
very true.
big segue. So take the last thing that he said and hold it in your brain because that's where we're going next.
That's where we're going.
See you guys in a minute.
Cannapunch is a delicious and effective medical marijuana beverage proudly made right here in Colorado. Each bottle is freshly infused with 100% pure flower extract from the highest grade marijuana plants available today. Using proprietary extraction methods, every bottle of Cannapunch is consistently and reliably infused with an exact milligram dosage that you can count on to relieve your symptoms each and every time. Cannapunch is delicious. There's never any medicine-y taste. We use only 100% cannabis flowers. No trim or byproducts are ever used in Cannapunch. It does not require refrigeration and comes in convenient, resealable multi-dose bottles from 60 milligrams to 200 milligrams. We have drinks with dosage that works best for you. Cannapunch is available in a variety of delicious flavors like black cherry, watermelon, pineapple mango, and blue raspberry. And we now have strain-specific beverages available just for you. Cannapunch is delicious, convenient, consistent, and effective. Give it a try and experience the Cannapunch difference.
Call Canasher at 1-800-420-5757 for all your insurance needs. Canasher understands the risks you face each day, and we are there to protect your business and your investment. Since 2010, Canasher has been serving the cannabis industry nationwide. Call Canasher at 1-800-420-5757 or visit us on the web at canasher.com to learn more about our insurance and risk management services. Proud member of the NCIA.
Extraction Tech Solutions. Not only is it safe, but it offers one of the only ETL certified essential oil extraction systems on the market. Our equipment meets or exceeds all of the North American safety standards. Customer relationships are important to us, so after the sale, it doesn't stop for us. We are reliable and therefore when our customer needs us. We offer pre- and post-sales training, method development, services, and repairs. Extraction Tech, safe and reliable because it matters. Contact us at www.extractiontech.com or 720-515-9254.
The Law Office of Edson, Maton, and Matz provides criminal defense, family law, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running a medical marijuana center, optional premises cultivation operation, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout the state of Colorado. We're focused on providing high-quality service and customer satisfaction. We will do everything we can to meet your expectations. WarrenEdson.com. Edson, Maton, and Matz in Denver, 303-831-8188. And in Aspen, 970-948-7183. WarrenEdson.com. Green Faith Ministry is for spiritual guidance, MMJ information, and networking combined with compassionate care on the way to enlightenment with all Green Faith sacraments. Green Faith provides charity assistance, including medical and food throughout the year. Contact them at greenfaithministry.com.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. Runongrass.com.
High up in the Rockies is beautiful Frisco, Colorado. Medical Marijuana of the Rockies is a medical marijuana center with compassion for Colorado's medical patients. Looking for great meds grown organically in soil? You've come to the right place. Medical Marijuana of the Rockies is just off I-70 at exit 203. Check them out at the web at www.mmrockies.com. Their ever-changing strain and clone selection is updated on the website daily. When making a trip to the mountains, no matter the season, stop by Medical Marijuana of the Rockies. Make sure you say you heard about them on iCannabis Radio. You can call 970-668-MEDS to get more information. Medical Marijuana of the Rockies, your mountain source for meds.
Independent Records and Videos has been your locally owned and operated choice for music, movies, and lifestyle accessories since 1978. Independent Records and Videos has 7 locations from Denver to Colorado Springs to Pueblo to serve your entertainment needs. Whether it's vinyl, CDs, DVDs, books, smoking accessories, or hundreds of other fun and fanciful items, Independent is ready and waiting to make your dreams come true. We are always buying, selling, and trading vinyl, CDs, books, and DVDs, so sell yours and buy ours. Independent Records and Videos, your entertainment headquarters. Check us out at beindependent.com or on Facebook.
Ideal 420 soil is preloaded to perfection with all your nutrient, microbial, and biostimulant needs. It's compatible with all strains and is good for a 22-week grow cycle from seed to harvest. This product is 100% organic and gives your marijuana that awesome aroma and smooth taste we all desire. Ideal 420 Technologies is well-grounded in soil chemistry, soil physics, and microbial biology, making them the most advanced soil company in the marijuana industry. They do the science so growers can focus on what truly matters, the plants themselves. No more mixing and feeding of expensive nutrient lines, supplements, and foliar sprays. Not to mention, the company is prideful in being the most consistent soil product that has yet to hit the market. Due to the results when using Ideal 420 soil, they are quickly changing the standard for cannabis cultivation. To order the product, go to ideal420soil.com. Use promo code INTHELAB for an additional 20% off.
Green Faith Ministry is for spiritual guidance, MMJ information, and networking combined with compassionate care on the way to enlightenment with all Green Faith sacraments. Green Faith provides charity assistance, including medical and food throughout the year. Contact them at greenfaithministry.com.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
Hey, we're back. Welcome back to the Dunn Show. I was just giving some little history of what's called a willy, which is when you pick
not a
up,
wet willy.
Not a wet willy,
No.
just a willy, a joint willy. So when you randomly roll into somebody else's place and just start picking joints up off the table because that's what Willie Nelson does whenever he's somewhere. It's like, I'm like, Willie, I got weed. You don't need to pick joints up off the table.
Like
He's
half
no,
burned
that's the way I like it.
roaches.
I was like, okay. So we are back to the Adam Dunn Show. We were about to segue over to some awesomely horrible news that we were not going to be very excited to hear, but we're also going to be able to fight it. Right?
Yeah, except you're going to hear some weird stuff from me because what we're talking about is Senate Bill 1470, Senate Bill 14177, and Senate Bill 14178, which are being proposed right now through our Colorado legislature. And before we get going, I need the listeners to understand that when we read these bills and when you look at this, the stuff that's written here that's just plain type is already the law. Because too many people are looking at this thinking the whole thing is the proposed law. The proposals are the stuff that's crossed out and bold. And as we go through it, my opinion is people have had a negative knee-jerk reaction to this, and I'm concerned about what's about to take place. So when we start with 177, because it comes first, long and the short of it, this has to do with social services and when controlled substances rise to the level of child abuse. So we currently have something that says, la-di-da, page 2, nothing changed, section 1, just going through the definitions. We then get to section 3, and it talks about what is a drug-endangered child. And again, this is what's already the law. Okay, and then we get down through, and particularly in 19-1-103 statute, section 6, it right now reads, any case in which in the presence of a child or in the premises where a child is found or where a child resides, a controlled substance is manufactured or attempted to manufacture. That's what they're crossing out, and I'm not quite sure people are realizing that. And they also then cross out section 7, which talks about it automatically being child abuse if a child tests positive at birth.
I saw they crossed that out.
They crossed it out.
Yeah, I did see that.
And then they get into a new definition starting in 44.7. And again, it uses that in the presence of a child language, but adds, and when such activity threatens the health or welfare of the child. Okay? Previously, it doesn't have that.
So right now, just so everyone can follow, right now it's illegal to grow or attempt to grow in your house if you have a child.
If you have a house and in the house is a grow and the child is present, that's technically child abuse, whether or not they don't have to prove harm to the child at all.
Right.
Right now. Okay? All they have to prove is that's a kid is in house, weed is in house.
So it doesn't even have to be your kid.
No. And in fact, under the current law, you don't even have to have knowledge.
So
I mean, if I bring my kid over to somebody's house and don't know they have a grow and all of a sudden the doors get kicked in, I can be charged with child abuse without them needing to prove harm or the fact I even knew the damn grow was there.
That's messed
And that's something we've been dealing with for what, about 10 years? And it's been kind of my soapbox item because everybody acted like it didn't exist.
And you deal with cases of that.
We deal with more of this than we deal with the medical marijuana business advice. We do appointments for Jefferson County on dependency and neglect cases, which are cases where their social services is having to come in and remove a child or get involved in a family's life because of drug, alcohol, or violent issues.
So how frequently does that happen in a case where there's a grow? You know, not a situation that we generally would be like, it's safer for the kid not to be there. You know,
two different things. In fact, people getting charged is fairly rare. Okay, you basically have to be an asshole to the cop to get him to add that charge in, particularly if it's a situation where there is no proof of harm or knowledge. But there's a handful of cases where that's happened. Where you see it in another manner, though, is the threat of it. You know, you're a family involved with social services and you're a medical marijuana patient and you want to grow your own weed, and you'll see the social services lady say, you can't do that and have that kid in the house or have us return the kid because under this section, it's child abuse.
Now, in the new proposed changes, that would include also not just growing, but now they're expanding it to possess a controlled substance, right?
Well, let's go back because that's already in place.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, so you can't even have weed in your house and have a kid in the house with weed, or you're abusing a child.
In the presence of a child or where the child is found, a controlled substance is manufactured. In this part, yes, we're going to get to the next part and talk about the possession aspect of it. But in terms of 77, we go through and they keep adding over and over again, a child's health or welfare is threatened by the unrestricted access to either a controlled substance. Next one, C, a child's health or welfare is threatened. I mean, due to the impairment of the parent. I mean, this stuff's already here, and they're adding the addition of the threatening aspects. So the prosecutor and or county attorney who's handling the dependency and neglect has to actually prove harm to the child or threat to the child, not the mere presence.
So it's almost like better protection.
For me, it is. Yeah. Could it be cleaned up a hell of a lot? Yes.
So what are some of the undesirable things still remaining? Well, that if we were going to get nitpicky,
give me 1 second. Yeah. I mean, I guess one thing that pisses me off is D of this section. Okay, they crossed out the kid born with the drug in their system, but then they add in D here and they separate it where a child tests positive at birth for a Scheduled 1 controlled substance or a Scheduled 2 controlled substance unless the mother's lawful intake of such substances prescribed. They don't give a weed out there. So it still leaves it if your kid's born. Yeah, they don't, well, because it's Schedule 1, so it falls in that first part.
Right.
Which means if a mom tests hot, that's
and it's
child
not prescribed,
abuse.
It's only recommended. So
yep. So that sucks.
Yeah, that really sucks.
I wish they would add a threat of harm to the child and because frankly, even if it's prescribed, if they can show harm to the child, that's not good.
Right.
Okay, so I mean, I wish they'd throw that in D. So, I mean, overall, for me, I see all the Facebook furor, but I need people to understand that the basic language in this is what already is. Because I think people are reading this thinking the whole thing's going to be new.
What's proposed, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, to be honest, I'd never looked at what existed till now, until it came up. So first of all, thankfully we have you around. Second of all, I mean, thankfully other people don't know it, so you have a job.
Well, again, if they get rid of this sucker, okay, and then we go back to them not having to show any harm at all. And
right.
so
So it sounds like it got a little. I mean, there's a little bit of better.
Is there a legal definition of what that? Because it sounded vague when I read it, and I know that's usually how laws are. Like, can they say, "Oh, well, we can bring in a specialist that proves if you're growing, there's a good chance you have mold, and that mold harms a child, and we're taking the kid."
And that's the pissing match that'll start to begin, and that's why they wrote it in part so bland in the beginning, that the mere presence, because then they don't have to do it.
Right.
I mean, they don't have to bring in the guy that testifies about mold or electricity or fertilizer or whatever the hell could harm the kid, because, it's just the mere presence.
Like everything hurts. Your sofa has chemicals that has 1,000 chemicals.
Carpet cleaning.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so we got the second one, which is 178. And I'd be intrigued to see why they separated these. But anyway, in terms of bills.
That's an interesting point.
But when we go through, again, remember that the regular type is what's already there. The weird type is the proposed changes.
Right.
So they do add, a person commits child abuse if he or she is responsible for creating a situation in which a child is drug endangered as described in the following paragraphs. Okay. That bugs me a little bit, but it kind of depends on each aspect of the following paragraphs. Now, I'm disappointed in Section 1 here. We get into, in the presence of the child or where they're found, knowingly engages in manufacturing of a controlled substance.
Is this like the meth bill?
This was
the meth bill, right.
But they didn't take out, it shall be no defense to the crime of child abuse that the defendant did not know a child was present, a child could be found, a child resided in the premises, or that a vehicle contained a child, because that, for me, should be gone. Because
they did or did not take that
They
out?
didn't.
They
didn't.
Okay.
It's not crossed out.
I see.
Okay, so looking for a bad thing in this,
right.
That's bad that's still in there. Because, I mean, shit, how can... You're convicted of something you didn't know,
right?
I'm
picking up. Yeah, there's all sorts of.
Well, I guess, yeah, I don't know. You start to manufacture some bubble hash in your house, not knowing that a friend and his kid came over and are downstairs in the playroom. I don't know. I'm trying to think of some way that could happen.
The vehicle thing is. I just feel like if you really wanted to, if I wanted to be a dick prosecutor. You're stepping on some trichomes on the ground. You're making hash. You had leaf in your car.
Well, how about resin?
Yeah.
Because, technically resin it qualifies as hash because it contains THC and it comes from marijuana. And yes, it's throwout, but it meets the definition of hash.
There you go. Well, so now you know.
So we go into 2 and 3 where they've cut out the commits child abuse part, which is interesting because again, it's not automatic. And then they add all this other language starting from there where they talk about, like you're saying, a vehicle, okay? And they talk about attempting to possess it. But they add when any such activity poses a threat of injury to the child's life or health, okay? Why, again, I don't like that they take out that you have to know the kid's there, but at least they put in the qualification of risk. And then, if you're a parent and you have next one, B, a parent or lawful guardian of a child or a person having the care or custody of a child knowingly or recklessly allows the child to be present in any location where a person distributes or obtains or attempts to distribute or obtain. Now, again, they add when such activity poses a threat of injury to the child, as well as the part above here where it has to be knowingly or recklessly. So at least there has to be some knowledge.
So if you walk into a house where people are smoking weed with your kid, you didn't break the law unless you walked into the Cannabis Cup with your kid.
And then they'd have to prove that it poses a threat of injury to the child's life or health. I mean, if you walk into the Cannabis Cup with your kid and you go into the speaker section, how does that pose a risk to the kid?
Right.
So again,
but if you're out there taking dabs on the line with your kid and your carrier on your back or something,
well, they could, they probably could, because they'd say, hey, you could take a dab and fall over and squash the kid.
Right.
And frankly, when you go to the things and they make you wear dab helmets, that kind of leads to that thought process. If you have to wear a dab helmet, you probably should have your kid on the back.
Yeah. Well, if the kid wears a dab helmet, then that'd be fine.
Get the armored carrier.
Get something like the roll bar for a Jeep on you, on your back. So even if you fall back, the kid doesn't get squished.
Human roll bar.
There we go. Great. That'll be the next item marketed at the Cannabis Cup.
I'm all over that.
We got to patent it quick. Call it Greg. Knowingly cultivates, possesses, uses, or attempts to cultivate. That's where you're talking about. They throw in that possession language. But again, they do when any activity poses a threat or injury to the child's life or health. So they have to prove something at least. Do I like that that's added? No, but at least there's some level of proof, which we don't have now.
Right.
Next part sucks, okay? Because it adds a Class 5 felony, essentially if you're a second timer, okay?
So Class 5, that's that's the 5th from the worst, or that's the 5th worst?
That's the lowest. There's actually now a Class 6, but that's like far and few between. So that's the second to lowest felony, but it's still a friggin' felony.
Right,
okay?
it's felony.
And obviously, if you pick it up, the med licensing ramifications are huge because, you're banned for 5 years,
Right.
la-di-da-di-da.
Hey, it's only 5 years?
Now, without getting into a whole nother lecture, the rules are now different for medicinal and rec.
I got you.
So, regular felonies, 1, drug felonies, 10 in a rec world.
Yeah, that's...
Now, granted, though, you have to have done it before, so it makes it kind of hard to argue against because the holier than thou say, shit, he's done it before. We need to increase the penalty.
Right.
Now, should it raise to a level of felony? I don't think so, but, that's what they're recommending. And guess what? I mean, that's it. That's all the recommended changes. And I can see some reason for concern and wanting to talk about modifying some of that language. But right now, in the seesaw weighing of these things, for me, these are better than we have now, even though there's some bad shit in them.
I feel safer with that. I don't know how you feel, Adam, but I feel as a parent safer that I know I'm not going to do anything that's going to endanger my kid.
Right, and that is something where they'd have to prove it too, and that's quite a hard thing to prove unless it's something obvious. Like left my kid out and locked the door, left him outside because I was so high. That kind of stuff happens. That of course,
you're actually neglecting your kid. Then that's actual neglect.
And frankly, you're going to get in trouble for that probably more than the other. But that's a whole nother story. I guess where it could come into play is a bit in areas where, you might find a jury pool in Denver thinks something is not harmful to your child, where a jury pool in Colorado Springs might think it is. Oh, shit, there was a bong on the counter and the kid could pick it up and smash himself over the head with it, so that's dangerous. If you want to get way out there, there is some wiggle room, which could be negative there. But again, it's a hell of a lot better than kid is there, grow is there, guilty. I mean, because
that's scary.
the only
And that's
defense
now.
is to try to prove, that's now. And the only defense is to try to prove what? That the kid wasn't there? Or that the grow
grow's
wasn't
not
there.
yeah.
And most of the time at the point you're there, we got videotape out the yin yang of the kid and the grow.
Right.
Or the kid and the grow.
Mm-hmm. And so that's, that's where we're at with this. I tried to go through.
Are there laws like this for guns on the books? Like, are you allowed to have kids around, say, a gun, a loaded handgun? Is that totally?
Yes and no. They'd have to prove harm and risk to the child. I can tell you in handling dependency neglect cases, provided a client's allowed to have a gun, because, if they're felon, there are little issues there. But if the client's allowed to have a gun, most of the time, if social service is involved, they make the client lock the gun in a gun safe, either the standing kind or the kind in the top of the closet. But we recently had a case where the non-offending parent, meaning the parent divorced, one parent not near, whatever the hell bad thing went on, and that guy's spotless, but they made him put his gun in a lockbox up in the closet.
So lock your grow might be a good precaution.
Of course. I mean, our advice for the last however many years has been, the best you can do is lock that grow and really make it so the kid can't get in the grow. Because, you run into some circumstance where they lock it and the key's hanging there.
Right.
Or it's the same key as the front door because that's easy. If it's really accessible to the child, that's a different story. And again, most of the time we're running into social services not necessarily having a huge issue with it unless they don't like you.
Right.
But these cases sit out there. I get worried about when I see pictures on Facebook and stuff of kids in grows, and I think, my God, if social services wanted to drill you, there you go.
And they could just hop on Facebook and check public.
They do.
They do.
And in fact, most of our clients, their Facebook is monitored by social services.
Yeah.
Like openly.
Yeah.
And they'll say, we saw a picture that you put up last week and you were at a party and that looked like alcohol in your hand. And granted, there has to be some proof, but it leads to a negative tone and tenor for the rest of the case.
Yeah, guys.
Even if they can't prove that it was booze in that
Thank
photo.
God for the nasal ranger. We can get that out and just sit out and watch people. And I can smell it from here. It's alcohol. Nasal ranger.
Yeah, the nasal guy.
So the other bit that I saw on your Facebook today was the guy who ate the cookie.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What?
You didn't hear about this, Adam? I thought this was going to be like a big thing on the
Yeah,
show
a college
today.
student died from eating a cookie in spring break and falling off a balcony. And while that's not positive and I feel bad for his family, I went to college in Florida, man.
Yeah,
that was like a daily occurrence at Daytona. And,
Oh, yeah.
I mean that
Fort
not
Lauderdale, I
flippantly,
used to live
like
in-
truthfully. Yeah.
Fort Lauderdale was like a daily. It was
Seriously.
like, we tried to climb from this one to that one.
Marsh
and
would
then
roll
party,
in.
There's always like a party at the other balcony and somebody's smart and doesn't want to walk downstairs and they decide they're going to
Sort
climb
of
over
smart.
to it. And
Some idiot drunk thinking the pool's a lot closer to their balcony
pool
than it is,
jump.
and they can jump.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I saw in that article that was weird to me is it was like, okay, he was at 7 nanograms a milliliter from eating a cookie. And I don't know of a single cookie on the market that's weaker than, say, 25 milligrams. And that seems like a really low metabolite content unless you like just ate that thing or it's been worn down.
Well, I don't know. And part of it, this whole nanogram blood test.
This guy didn't drink. This guy didn't drink alcohol either, right?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
But he was on a sleeping pill.
Oh, he was
It
on
did
some
say,
sort of
yeah.
Ambien or something.
He had something else, a sleeping pill. I noticed that in the article.
Yeah.
Now,
it's a Holiday Inn, right?
yeah, I think so. Now, here's the scary part above and beyond the tragedy of the situation. The scary part for me is what I think we were talking about last year. With this DUID bill we now have setting a standard of intoxication for not 5 nanograms, that doesn't just apply to driving. As you noted in the article, they made reference to he was intoxicated because he was over 5 nanograms.
That's when you're high.
Yep. Well, and parenting. Getting back to this shit, more than 5 nanograms, if they want to come in and fuck with you, hey, you tested 7, 10 nanograms, that's intoxicated.
7, 10, good number.
7 or 10, sorry. We know it'd more be like 50. No, not
What? Yeah, like what is? So we're probably waking up in the morning. Obviously, anyone who smokes regularly is over 5 nanograms. We've pretty well established.
Pretty much all the time. If
Yeah.
you're smoking daily, you're pretty much 5 nanograms plus all the time, which means if social services wanted to fuck with you, they could come in and say, look, you're not allowed to drive a car. Why should you be parenting?
Right. So pretty much you're not allowed to have a kid if you smoke weed is what they're sort of asserting.
Sucks. Part of my bitching last year in this DUID thing was that it doesn't just affect DUID, it affects all this shit. Divorces. I mean, now you got parents, one parent doesn't smoke, one does. Well, he's fucking over 5 nanograms all the time. He should never have the kid. We need to have him in a supervised setting always, because he's always going to be over 5 nanograms. And guess what? Probably is.
Truthfully, it would take and what did Will Breathes prove that it was like multiple days he didn't go for, and he was still like way over.
Yeah, Google the Westward article. It's probably 2 years old, year and a half old, but I think he tested 17 nanograms the next morning.
It was after 24 hours.
I think that was only 12, but again, we shouldn't be talking about something we don't have in front of us.
True
I know.
Coming to get you.
Oh, there you go.
Other partner from Aspen is in town here.
Nice, big lawyer stuff. Yeah. Everyone,
welcome, Lauren.
Warren Edson.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Honestly, if you do have any family issues
our own personal buzzkill.
Yeah, well, hey,
Mr. Negative.
I used to be that guy.
Myself.
I respect. Obviously, I still vibe with that. That was my role in the show till we had you, Warren.
That's great. I support it.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thanks,
down,
Warren. As painful as it is to always hear the truth, sometimes you have to, and that's where Warren comes in. Give us a little taste of the reality of what's going on here.
And now back to Fantasy World.
Now back to Fantasyland. Woo! 5,000 nanograms for everybody.
Yeah. Go get your Incredibles right now. There's a hot batch out.
Yeah, we'll make sure. We want minimums of 5. That's a minimum.
When I have a new company, we're going to do drug testing, and I'm going to be like, bro, do you even smoke, bro? Like, come on, you're coming in at 10.
Exactly.
You show up to an interview, you show up at 25.
That's right. I always said that back in the day in Amsterdam. I was like, had a big sign that says we drug test all of our employees, and it was funny how many people would go like, "You really? You do?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." You got to make sure you can work while you're really high. That's part of the deal. You know what I mean? I can't just have you coming in thinking you're going to be able to handle it, and then all of a sudden the customer's there and you're like zoning out or something. So it's important, and that's actually kind of harder than people believe to find the right people who can balance between the two, because the problem is if all you're doing is thinking about it and you're not concentrating on what you're doing, that's not really that's not a good job either.
No, not a good. And you see it at Cannabis. You'll see it at this Cannabis Cup, and that's a great segue.
Dude,
we need a segue button.
Yeah, we need a button. Segue.
And we need segues too, segues to ride, as we discussed, the all-terrain segues.
Cool.
Imagine doing segues on the segues.
Oh my god,
nuts! I would be mashing that button right now. By the way,
segue.
Imagine it. All right, so
what's the segue? Tell me.
Segue 2, talking about Cannabis Cup.
Oh yeah, that thing.
It's April. Tis the season.
Is that thing coming around the corner again?
Yeah, dude. It's 2 weeks away.
It's funny. I woke up this morning. I woke up because Gnu. Yesterday was the first, right?
Right.
I woke up this morning already thinking it was around the 10th, like in my mind. It just I woke up thinking like, I had the shivers. I had to shiver for a second, like, so much to do.
Dude, yeah, it must be something with I don't know what, because yesterday I woke up in the mood that I'm not doing anything this year for the cup. I'm chilling, waiting for the baby, but dude,
still stressing.
Not this year, but every year.
Yeah.
This is the time of year, and I woke up yesterday just in a foul mood. Like, I got so much shit to do, I don't have time.
No, it's coming up quick, and the thing is that this cup is going to be the biggest one ever in the history of Cannabis Cups.
And you would know.
50,000 plus people are expected to be rolling through. Not so much at the actual cup itself, but just
to Denver
for 420 celebrations.
I'm calling it 65,000. That's Mitch's call.
65,000.
Put it in the pool.
Okay. Well, I would say there's going to be a good 40,000 at the show itself. You know what I mean? Because there was 20. There was 22. I don't know. Never know. Never 100% sure on those things. But once you start getting into those numbers, you have to imagine that is the Coors Field. Like, that's everybody and all those. How many people sit in the Coors Field?
I don't know. Someone knows.
Quick.
Someone do that.
Factoids. 50,000 probably, something like that. 70.
I can't estimate large numbers of people.
72. Still. At 72,
that's next year's cup.
That's next year's cup for sure, and that isn't even that. That's the cup plus all the homeless guys that are looking for free weed around the cup.
There's those guys.
There's 10,000 of them on top of just.
You know what I do, and anyone who can do this, if listeners do, if your booth has like 12 free passes, whatever, or you're getting hooked up. Get one and give it to one of those people outside who's like freaky, who's never, they drove here overnight from Omaha because they just heard about it. Give them a pass, get them in. It's pretty awesome the way they respond. They get really dabbed out is what happens.
Sure. No, and it's
Like
not just the cup this year though. Too, there's so many events going on around the cup. It's exactly.
There you go. Yeah.
Coors Field.
Holler at us, Coors.
I nailed it.
Coors. We can rename it something other than Coors.
So if they want to upgrade their image in the world, they should have the next cup there.
Do it.
That would be the bomb
on the field.
I mean, come on.
But that's how many people in the stands. That's like
they still have the whole field to work with.
Yeah,
that's
I mean, like you can't really be at a cup.
That's your booth.
I feel like stands at a cup would be weird. Like everyone, come watch my panel, and you have you on stage talking to Coors Field.
That'd be all right.
That would be. I'm not hating. Let's do it.
That would be fun.
Let's do it. I'm trying to get on a panel. You want to do a panel this year?
I'm all over the panels. Panels are fun.
Are they booked already? I'm gonna try.
I'm assuming I'm on the.
Yeah, I know. I know they tell you like when they get into town.
I'm assuming that I'll be put on it. So that was a great segue for the cup. Now, what else is going on,
dude? So I mean, the nail is here. Here you go.
There you go. I got another one right here. I just haven't had time to.
It's been sitting here?
It's been sitting here the whole time.
Dude, I'm missing everything that's happening. I'm too focused on the show.
Too much writing because you got 8
I
words
know.
on this paper.
I'm doing like the Jon Stewart where I'm really just like touching the paper with the pen and not actually writing.
It's all fake.
It's all an illusion.
It's an illusion.
This is our fantasy world. Let's talk about what people who come to the Cup. Everyone should come to the Cup if you can. And if you can't come to the Cup, come to Denver because there is. Let's talk about some of the other awesome stuff that's going on. Why don't you?
Well, I mean, the good thing is that we have. Okay, so for instance, here. I'll make a major announcement right now.
Yeah, we soundboard. Where's your soundboard?
Dead. Everything's dead. We have 90 days left at the Hood Lab. By the way.
Whoa. This is some Empire Records shit here.
Yeah, Hood Lab has to move by June 31st. So we are going to be balls out from now till that time. So
yes, sir.
Pretty much if you want to come, if you want to do a party in Denver, you need to contact us because we will be having nonstop for the next 3 months as much as we can do. And the Cup is basically just the beginning of that, So that's we're going to have a whole week of celebrations. We have the big show coming into town, which is the Buyer Industry Group.
Which is a fancy name for if you want to buy what the head shops buy, go there.
Right. So it's a big wholesale thing. That's going to be going on from Wednesday and Thursday.
And it's open to the public this time, right? One day,
I believe.
Yeah, go in.
Second day, and that's definitely worth
killer prices.
Definitely worth checking out. And then there's going to be the Galleria glass show going on Friday.
Right.
And then it's a Cup Saturday and Sunday. So that's all in one location. And what we're doing is we're going to be basically getting people to and from.
Does Vinny have 3 phones?
Vinny has 3 phones. He's one of those guys.
3 phones Vinny is your new name, Vinny.
V3 I call him on my phone. So
V3, nice. Yeah. Sorry. That was just distracting.
So we are going to be doing, we're going to be hosting the big show after party on the first night of their thing, Wednesday night. Then we have the Super Mila Dabadoo Fest.
Can I come to that? I saw that there was like private.
Very limited. Very limited. So
I know.
Get in touch with Mila if you want to be in that. That's on the Thursday, and then Friday. Who knows what's going down? We have sort of secret things happening. We're not sure.
Reggae Church on. Can we say that? Can I say
Church
that?
of Reggae on Sunday.
Marlon
Asher.
Nice.
Plus special guests.
Special guests. The thing is, when a lot of places, if you guys don't hang at Hood Lab, you don't know what Hood Lab is. When places say special guest, they usually mean like some guy we're going to pull out of our ass. When Adam says special guest, it's like, oh, look at that. Like, that's the most famous person who's in Denver right now. He just walked in the back door with a
Sometimes you have to leave a little mystery there if you want to keep it rolling.
Special guest is like literally quite special in this case.
And then, we've got a full week. We're going to be doing the Greyhound bus station at our spot. So everybody who's got a dab bus or any of that kind of stuff, they're going to be able to come to the Hood Lab, pick up very dabbed out passengers ready to roll on to the next spot. And we're about 3.5 miles from the gig itself. So I'm approximating that at 2.5 dabs.
Nice.
By the time you get there.
Good estimate.
Because it's a lot of work and the bus is bouncing around. It's not quite as easy. Dabbing on a bus ain't easy. Let me tell you. I've been watching all those people on those videos, and it's like
you need the soda can.
You need an extra suspension.
Large surface. I would use the old school Hashmaster cut curve with the big plate.
Yeah.
That big tie plate. You could hit that.
Bam.
I have a shout out to you here from
shout out.
Science from Epic Genetics. He says your cuts are ready.
Nice.
Yes.
Mr. Epic.
Yeah.
Thanks for remembering. I was wondering because always when someone tells you.
But I have to follow that up with where the hell are the clone shippers?
Hey, I've been putting the word out. It's been one of the hardest things. Actually, it's funny too because like the guys who have those, They are. Spain is one of the hardest places to get people to do anything. It's like,
dude, they actually have a national time to just sleep in the middle of the day.
It's like if you call them at this time, they're sleeping. If you call them that time, they're just getting around. And they're having lunch for like 2 hours. You know, it's a rough one. Spain's one of the
It's
hardest.
not rough for the Spanish. It's pretty dope. It sounds like, and it sounds like the scene's popping off there. Everyone who went out there for Spannabis was just saying
it's pretty
getting
nuts.
quite sophisticated.
It's
better
nuts
than
because-
Amsterdam.
Oh,
is
yeah.
what I hear.
Yeah, for sure. Because the thing is that they have a good starting point. The thing is, Amsterdam, a lot of the if you go to a lot of the coffee shops in Amsterdam, they are literally not much bigger than this room we're in right now.
And they're just like
And-
it's like someone's kitchen that they're selling weed out of.
And so the ventilation's usually really crappy. It's not like they're designed for smoking massive amounts of cannabis all day in this one little place, which was made in the 1600s or something. so when you're down there, these places are like literally built from the ground up almost for this
Ooh,
particular
that's-
thing. So
so
they're all really
they're
well
cannabis bars,
yeah,
essentially?
well thought out,
Nice.
good
Very
ventilation, all this, just the things that you need, and that's the other thing too is like
And how's the
always-
weed?
better
I
than
hear
better than
good.
Amsterdam, better than Amsterdam, but still. The problem, the biggest problem in Spain.
And they have dabs in Spain too.
Biggest problem in Spain is the water, the quality of the water.
Fundamentally, because it's coastal.
Just shitty water. I mean, if you're there, you smell the sewers, you smell the water. It's funky, right? So if you're growing indoors, you're using that water. Even if you RO the water, it's still
possibly nanobubbles might fix it.
Nanobubbles could save the day.
Let's
possibly.
blow it up in Spain. But yeah, so Spanish water makes funky Spanish weed.
Pretty much.
But not good
That's what
funky.
I've noticed, and that's so like a lot of times when you, especially imagine you're making water hash too.
And you got gross water.
Yeah, your water smells like kind of sulfury already to begin with. So
what's the deal with like the hash over there? I hear a lot of it's the soap bar. Like if you're just go to one of these clubs, don't just buy hash on the street in Spain because a lot of that stuff is like really swag.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Spain has the most. I mean, it's right across from Morocco, so
Right.
they have just massive amounts of
How
hash.
big's the Strait of Gibraltar? Can you do it like with a rowboat?
You can
get
see
across?
it. You can see
Oh,
the
yeah,
other.
so you could definitely be like, fuck,
you
I'm swimming.
I
it
mean,
with
it's
this
like
brick.
it's not right there, but you get a little on a good clear day, you can definitely see it. But in general, yeah, they have the most amount of hash. And that means they have the biggest range. They have the worst, and they have some of the best. So you really just have to. But it's like
crack in New York.
Yeah, and the thing is that most of the time, what I noticed when I was there is every time I'd smoke a joint, I'd cause way too much of a ruckus because it was always pure weed,
Pure, yeah.
and everybody else is smoking mixed with tobacco, and so people just be like heads be turning everywhere, and like I'd get kids in trouble, like next to me who'd be smoking a joint no problems, never had a problem. I roll up, take one puff. Now the cops are over looking for those guys. You know what I mean? So it is one of those things where you just definitely it's a hash culture. You know?
Is it changed? So what I'm.
But their weed is
getting
getting better.
It's changing, and it's becoming more like our weed. We're exporting our weed culture, it sounds like.
Oh,
And
for sure.
When I say weed, that's really like Colorado right now. No disrespect, Cali, but
it's a little.
We're running things. Catch the fuck up.
Oh.
You just did. I think they botched it again,
Man,
dude.
that was look at the thing that's going on.
I know.
The hate mail is coming in by the.
We now have 15 million listeners. Don't
Yeah.
feel special if you're listening. Anymore.
Yeah, they're all from California, and they're all they're all hating on you personally.
That's what. Keep
No, but
your
in general,
$800 a pound.
but in general, it is interesting to see this whole global shift, and people are now obviously cannabis. The good part about it is we already know there's the backlash is very minimal because we're talking about now people get to smoke good weed. What comes bad of that? Not much usually. So it's
more healthy. It's more.
Yeah, they smoke less and get taste better.
They're not getting all PCP'd. Fuck it.
Maybe
No
that's
sherms.
what the Aztecs
No
were talking
sherman.
about. The awakening is everybody open their eyes to marijuana.
Smoking good weed.
I did that on episode. What episode was that?
We need an archive, a scribe.
That was the Mayan. That was the Mayan
second-
episode. That was the Mayan
the second
episode.
one.
That was the whole. That was the right now.
2012, right? December 21st.
The real awakening.
Cool.
But in general, Spain is definitely the spot to be. I think for cannabis in Europe right now. Always been pretty friendly to it. As far as locals obviously love it.
Right. They have naps. The national naps means you probably dig weed.
We'd enjoy cannabis. Yeah, exactly. It's a perfect combination. Siestas and cannabis. Yeah. Yes, they work well together. But this year I think is going to be a big one just because all eyes are on Colorado right now. we're about to put hemp in the ground any day now. So
Nice.
that's going to be that to me is more interesting than anything because I mean
I heard all sorts of a lot of news agencies are obviously opening offices here. That what's Denver? Denver's a shit little city, but they need reporters here so often.
Yeah.
But I also heard the CIA is opening an office in Denver. And
I wouldn't doubt it. Wouldn't doubt it.
Because the floods, the rising waters, and then.
Is that why they're here?
I'm just saying.
Is that why
over
they're
6,000 feet?
That's one of the things that. But then I heard there was some earthquake that's gonna cover us all in lava. There's some methane in Yellowstone.
That was yesterday. That was last
You missed
week, man.
it.
You missed
Yeah,
all my. You missed all my. These are all my predictions. I am Nostradamus of all these. Right after I said it last week, there was an earthquake.
Oh yeah, there was a huge earthquake yesterday.
Yeah, right
which is
after.
not hey, nature, don't do it on April Fool's Day. I don't know how to react to that.
Yeah, you don't even know what. Yeah, right.
Yeah, earthquake. Come on.
Earthquake.
I don't want to be that dude.
I mean, I was already on it last week just because I saw the thing about the animals and I knew.
Oh, that's right. You were talking about
the animals were leaving
right.
Yellowstone, and that's always an indicator right there. I mean, come on.
So we're all going to get covered in lava, and
Great.
unless there's floods. But if they both happen,
well, I mean, the thing is where we are. If the lava,
we're done.
We're done.
Mountains.
That's it.
Yeah,
Forget
yeah,
about it.
yeah.
It doesn't even matter.
But you'll
Covered-
probably get high, all down to Mexico with all the weed burning in the lava in Colorado, all down into Mexico, up into Canada for
It'd be
a
like
period.
it'd be like a weather report. You'd be like, and the lava flows will be hitting into the Zacatecas fields, burning giant swaths of cannabis, which will be drafting.
It's
going to
start like a Stone Age,
Yeah,
it's like an
massive-
ice age, 200 years. There's just weed smoke and then resin on everything.
Massive munchy sesh, and then it's over. We're done.
What? Then the floods.
One big munch.
Maybe we should test the La Brea tar pits for THC.
Oh, it's all reclaim. It turns out that's to find everyone fossilized in reclaim.
Yep, that could
There's a
be
thought.
it.
So we got 3 minutes to the half hour left. Joint, you want to shout out the sponsors again?
Another shout out to the sponsors, of course. Way to Grow, our number one sponsor out there. 6 locations all over Colorado. Everything you ever needed for growing, and if you don't have it, they'll get it for you. They were doing a Botanicare special until the 1st of April, but now it's over, so I have no idea what the
They
special
always
is.
have some rocking bulbs for $10 type shit.
Yeah,
at
they're
this
going to
time
be.
of
They'll
year.
definitely. Oh no, I gotta remember. He told me something.
He did?
It was last week. It was like the next big special coming up, but we'll find out.
We'll find out. Hopefully, we'll find out before the end of the show. But yeah, check him out. Go to their website.
6
give 'em a
locations
call.
all over town, all over the state. Newest one is at 1510 South Platte River, 20,000 square foot location. Everything you ever need. Soon to have Nanobubbles on the shelf. Life will be good.
Life will be great. We also got to shout out Boulder Wellness. Drive up to Boulder, check them out. 2 weeks.
5420 Arapahoe.
Anyone fly into Boulder. You're listening in Europe, hop on a plane, fly to Boulder, Cannabis Cup, 420, starts all month.
Recreational.
Go do it. You're going to be able to go to how many places are going to be rec by 420?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, about 60 or something like that.
It's going to be a lot, dude.
Yeah,
it's not going to be.
It's getting there. And the funny part is the first round. What people don't realize is that first round had nothing to do with how big your shop was,
legit you were, how good you
It was
were.
very much like a lottery, and it was just kind of like, okay, you mom and pa. And then all of a sudden they had, thousands of people coming to their store. They couldn't handle it. But now what's happening is a lot of the bigger players are coming online. A lot of the guys who kind of waited in the shadows to watch the other guys do their thing. But then when they saw the lines, pretty sure they wanted to be part of that.
And they made it happen quick because they're the big boys.
Exactly. So this time I think there's going to be a bunch of newer, bigger stores online.
So I have a few thoughts come to mind on this.
What's that?
The first is Denver becoming like Amsterdam? With the alliances and rivalries, is the vibe. First of all, actually, my first question right now is how many coffee shops are there in Amsterdam right now? Are there
About
more places?
300 maybe.
So there's still more places to buy
250
weed
maybe,
in
250.
Amsterdam than Denver.
Yeah, there was at the height. It was about 400.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's about for a small town.
Yeah,
million
it's
people.
It's smaller than Denver. Yeah,
it's about the same amount of people. It's about
Okay.
1 million people.
Okay.
Smaller in size though, for sure. But in general, the yeah, it was. Now I've lost my train of thought.
Well, I asked you two questions at once. That's why.
You doubled me
But
up.
the first, the second question was, so there's still more coffee shops.
Oh,
there,
yeah,
but
exactly.
I mean, in 3 months, 4 months, we got 1/5 as many. They've been doing it
Yeah.
for what, since the 60s. They've been doing
72.
it?
I think was when it
72.
started.
There you
Yeah,
go.
72 started. But they. Yeah, the numbers kind of never really peaked up above 400. And this is another thing I talked about last week, same deal. It's my first advertisement, remember I told you this first advertisement was Washington, D.C. compared to Amsterdam, coffee shops and deaths, homicides, right? So it was basically 400 coffee shops in Amsterdam, 0 homicides. 400 homicides, 0 coffee shops. And then I showed the opposite little whoop, whoop, and there you go. I was like, and so the idea was, would you rather smoke or get smoked? You know, and that was my advertisement. That was my very first ad in High Times in 89,
nice.
Or no, 90, I guess it was, yeah.
And that was totally like playing off the drug fear Reagan era.
That was our CIA preemptive strike there. You know, that was our first counter information sort of agency idea.
Nice.
You know, yes.
Nice.
That's how we did.
Using their own
information against them.
So that was question 1. So we're catching up.
We're catching up quick. I mean, we're not, because we don't have one single place that you can technically go and smoke and hang out. It makes no sense. So
we're working on it.
It's coming quick.
I heard about a place we'll talk about off the air. I heard about a hookah bar that had a name that was suspiciously un-hookah-like.
Right.
And it's supposedly where the high society hangs out or whatever.
Really?
Yeah. So I'll be looking into that.
Soon to be high society.
Yes, sir.
Once you're in there.
But
no, in general, I think it's going to be so fast it's going to make your head spin, because nobody's going to wait around for someone to tell you that now it's time to do this. I mean, it's just going to happen.
I think, and that's the weird thing, is a lot of people are in the habit of, you know, just like we were talking about growing, how you used to do it indoors for security. You know, you don't want to be the dude who sticks his head out. But when at some point you want to be the dude who sticks, like it's real now, and the first guy to claim the rock gets the rock.
Sure. What's going on with the Nederland shop? Is that opened yet or not?
I don't. I know the guy that I know. I know another guy.
Club
who's
Ned or
getting
whatever,
one.
yeah?
I don't know. I'll find out. I got a Ned informant, actually, and I'll reach out to him right now.
Ned Foreman.
But so then that's the other question is, do you see, like, how similar is this to the early Amsterdam scene when you were getting there?
Well, I mean, when I got there, it was like already had been going on for
happening.
15, 16 years. So it had and that's the other thing about it is what the big difference between there and here, I think, is the fact that in Amsterdam, the idea was more just to get her done, right? Go do it. But at the same time, try not to invest too much money into your business, because that will attract the eyes of the law of how you're doing. Oh, you're doing really good, you know. And the minute you're doing really good, they kind of crack down on you. So what happened? What you noticed over there was a lot of these places were on purpose being run very lackadaisical. You know, just kind of like, you know, we're open. You want it, we got it. That's it. There wasn't as much like here. It's like much more classic advertising,
marketing,
and
just like,
everybody's trying their angles.
It's a proper retail experience.
Exactly. So I think that's the big difference. Is like over there, it was kind of the idea was don't be that guy who goes and gets a brand new, you know, makeover on your shop and make it look really good and try to make it super comfy, because then for sure they're going to say, well, you're obviously making way too much money. So
because it's still gray area,
we need to cut you down.
Like it's not.
Yeah. And so that's kind of where I think here. Now, of course, there's advertising things in place here, so you can't do this, you can't do that. But in general, it doesn't even matter. We still push the limits as far as we can. Full page ads, things like that. It's not like you don't see any advertisement, you know.
Right.
Over there, though, really tight. Like, no, you can't even have your address on a pack of matches. I mean, that's considered advertising. You know what I mean? It's because
and in Boulder adopted those pretty insane rules,
right?
And you can't have like a T-shirt. You can't even have it like only your employees can have an article of clothing with your logo on it, type thing.
Yeah, that doesn't seem even legal.
And that's I know if it's not Warren, it's going to be someone. Yeah, you can't just slang T-shirts. But could a third-party company make T-shirts of your logo, license your logo, and slang them?
Why not? I think
probably.
Probably.
Sure.
I wouldn't see why
as
not.
long as it wasn't sold in the store, right?
Right, exactly.
And it doesn't have an address on it. I think that's the key, because that's really like you're directly telling people to
go here to get this.
Go there.
Yes.
Though
I heard something. I'm trying to think how much I can talk about this. I don't know how much I can talk about it, but all I can say is that like nobody should be doing anything to out-of-state people and then having out-of-state people like post with their logo on Instagram with the location tagged in another state with like a slab of oil. That's not a good look.
Or geotagging with slabs of oil.
Yeah, geotagging with slabs of oil in general is
you do got to turn that off, people. Right?
Yes, turn that off. Turn off your geotags. Bad idea in the cannabis world.
Yeah.
None of us want to know where. None of us want you to know where you took your photo. Put it that way.
Unless
harvest today.
Unless you have someone like with your phone with a decoy geotag, and you're that's you get the counter information. I don't have to tell you. Wow. So it looks like I heard.
Okay, here we go. Club Ned.
My man says he's working on opening a spot if he can get another rental in town. And he says, this is going to be a direct anonymous quote. He says he wouldn't let his dog hang out in Club Ned. So that's an anonymous quote.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. But are they open? That's a good question.
Apparently they're all, dogs can hang out there. Not discerning dog owners.
Sounds exciting already.
And this is a Ned dog owner, not a Boulder. Like a Boulder dog owner wouldn't let their dog hang out at the Hood Lab. Like it's
right.
They're foofy. But this is a Ned dog owner. Like their dogs sleep outside usually.
Sure.
So, but it sounds like there may be a spot in the works, and we will definitely keep you posted as this develops.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be like literally like mushrooms growing quickly. Once the cup
they show up overnight, you're like, whoa.
Yeah. Once the cup's here, because I think during the cup,
people are just going to be smoking. It's going to be like Mardi Gras in New Orleans.
People are going to be finding, hanging out and figuring out their new spots, and all of a sudden it's going to be like, hey, why do we do this all the time? Because I'm sure. Because that's basically what's going to happen. We're going to have so many people in town with nowhere to go. So besides the cup,
which is even
only part of it you can smoke at. You can't smoke everywhere. So it's only and they only have 7,000. They're talking like a 7,000 person smoking area.
What?
And there's 50.
Are you kidding me?
Right. So
no, for real?
Yeah, for real.
Like 1,500 square feet.
I thought the whole parking lot was a smoking area.
That's only 15,000 square feet.
Oh boy!
Yeah, it's as big as my whole lot, basically, with a little extra.
So wait, all that they moved to a giant venue just to have more. So maybe it is going to be a whole stadium of people watching you on the panel. I should get on one.
It might be the only way, right?
Dude, damn, that's something. They're just going to rotate them through.
Well, yeah. It's going to be at a certain point. It has to be one in, one out, right? You can't just let everyone go to the smoking section if there's.
And that's why. Let's talk about some of the other stuff going on in Denver. Check out the Hood Lab. It's the Empire Records Hood Lab. Super mega rush from here till infinity, till the end. We're putting it in.
That's it,
no end.
Right?
Never.
Well, no, the transformation, but like a phoenix that the phoenix is already going to rise from the ashes. But let's burn it down, man. Not literally. Let us not literally burn down the Hood Lab.
Let's try to keep it a little bit
literal. You didn't text that.
No, and what Not literally. My attorney heard that. Yeah.
So I know that the real Big Mike wants to have a 315 update. I know that. I don't even have to look at the thing. But
which one's the real Big Mike?
See, this is funny because last week
I know there too.
The whole time I was thinking it was my Big Mike, but it was
that's not the real Big Mike.
Well, depends how you look at it.
When you just said it now, though,
he calls himself the real. He calls himself now the real Big Mike because he wants to clarify. This is the New York Mike, which is not actually the real Big Mike in my world because my Big Mike is the other Big Mike. But I think everyone has a Big Mike. Do you have a Big Mike?
I think I do.
Do you have a Big Mike? You don't have a Big Mike? Do you have a Big Mike? Yes. Everybody has a Big Mike.
All right. Well,
you have a Big Mike?
So are we going to talk to the Big Mike in San Francisco or the other guy?
I'm talking to New York Big Mike.
New York Big Mike.
New York
Do we have
Big
him on
Mike.
the line or
no?
just jabbering?
I just know that he's listening because he's always listening. He's at the hydro shop hanging out.
Cool. Actually asked for a 315 update.
See, I
there.
did.
Whoa! Adam's 315 cents was tingling. His Big Mike. Beep 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 beep.
Well, here's the sad news about 315.
Whoa!
Update. What?
Sad news.
I couldn't weigh the weed out properly because I started smoking it too fast. So.
Boo!
Couldn't wait.
So that's a good sign.
I can give you jars. I can tell you how many jars we have.
How many jars?
We had 6 jars.
Six gallon joints?
And then two of them were not totally the top, almost. Whatever that equals.
So do you know how much your jars usually weigh?
About 100 or a little more
grams.
Like a Cooper.
Do you think in metric? Do you think in?
Yeah,
you're metric.
Yeah, I'm metric. I've evolved. I've evolved to the next level.
It's a whole different way of thinking, right?
Like it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier.
You're just like, grams, milliliters. If I make it into water.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. The problem is if you're going to, it all ends up going back to our stupid method anyway, because we're like, it's an ounce all of a sudden.
Right. You're translating. Yeah.
Grams to it.
28.6. Actually, that 0.6. I think if you collected, you know that
it's 0.35. Actually, 28.35. Yes.
So
that's the first thing you remember as a kid is how much an exact ounce is, because you don't want to fuck up. 28.35.
A Jersey ounce is 27.8. It turns out. Just for the record.
I'm sure. If you're lucky.
That's what we refer to as a Jersey ounce. Shout outs to Kyle on that one.
Yeah, and usually I just throw 30 on mine. I'm a 30 guy. I would be. It's 28, but you get that extra.
The 1 point. Yeah.
I was very
generous. You took care of your people.
I did. I do.
You do. Still do.
I do what I did. I do what I did.
Yeah.
Now, as a kid, I would always put an extra. I'd put a pack of papers with every ounce.
I blunt with every eighth for me.
That was the way I did it. I mean, and I was
You
like,
did a pack of. I guess a pack of.
yeah, for every ounce. I give a pack
30.
of clubs.
Yeah,
I give them clubs.
Yeah.
Clubs.
They
I
don't-
had
they
to teach
don't
them
have-
I had to teach them how to use
Light
them.
it on fire and drop it. Now you have 29.
Yes, there you go.
You need to buy another pack.
Boom.
Show your friends. Now you totally buy another ounce. You need another pack of papes. You don't know where to get these.
Exactly. I have to pick them up in New York every time. So, any other exciting news out there?
Other exciting news. Well, so Big Mike 315. So the 315s are so great. He smoked them all.
Unbelievable flavor, though. I'm telling you, like to the point where the other day I actually said something which I probably never would say again, but I said this has too much flavor.
Whoa!
And then James and Alfie were like, looking at me like I was crazy. I was like, no, this literally has too much flavor.
Overpowers
like,
the palate.
I couldn't I was like, it was kind of over. Yeah, it was just too much.
Is this run from that?
No.
I'm very excited to see what that's.
Me too. But I mean, it was, and of course, I'm going to take it back in some way, shape, or form. Like, yes, there really is no such thing as too much flavor to a point. But when it gets to that, like it's almost like you're scraping your tongue off after every single hit.
Yeah.
That's almost too much sometimes. You're like, God, I don't know.
I need a light. Yeah. That's like
too
some
much.
people smoke lights. Yeah.
A little bit too much flavor. But awesome, I have to say. And that's the thing about it, those 315s in general. It's just terps all the time. Like
Trikes, how's the resin?
Trike's awesome.
Yeah,
Stack.
like good hash trikes.
Stack. The only thing I'd have to say is it doesn't flush as easily as with 1,000 because it's
not as much heat.
Well, they stay healthier the whole time.
So it doesn't really
they don't
senescence
peak out too much and then just sort of because that's the thing with 1,000 watt. You can get it to the point where it peaks right out to the top and then you're flush and you're done.
Right.
This one is sort of like you probably got to start pre-flushing ahead of the game because that might be part of the reason why there was too much flavor. Just like a little bit.
But I mean, it burns clean. And
oh yeah, still burns gray and stuff. It's just it just has that like I think it stays under the heat level at all times on the canopy. And you always notice like when you're growing under 1,000s compared to 600s, they automatically the tops get more burnt and a little bit more yellow, and they don't look so exciting to me. 600s tend to keep everything a little more in check, and then the 315s even more than that.
Right.
So.
Right. But so we're used to growing. We're used to growing with bad equipment, is what it is. So we got to relearn to grow with good equipment.
Yeah,
sort of.
I mean, or just as it keeps rolling, we're gonna have you're gonna figure out more things as far as like I said with the flushing and stuff. It's just maybe just coming in a little earlier with it, and or feeding a little less.
Right. So if you're in like a premixed soil, maybe running a little shorter burn. Yeah.
We got some good questions there, or just a bunch
hopefully.
Maybe it's all in
I see. Are they all being like, this is California saying? I want to say,
pissed.
fuck Mitch.
Mitch is done.
Don't set foot. Don't you step foot in the Golden State.
You're done.
Done. No, not welcome.
Not at all.
So we got
20 minutes,
17 minutes. Yeah, 20 minutes.
Yeah, on point. Shout out to Incredibles again for being our next sponsors out there. Best edibles in Colorado, Denver.
Which means best in the world, dude. And you can even probably say, since aliens don't make edibles, best edibles in the galaxy,
universe.
known and unknown.
Universe?
The
galaxy's only one little piece
You're
of the
right.
universe.
You're
Let's
right.
go universe.
Cosmos? Is the cosmos everything? Have you been watching that thing, the Cosmos? I heard that. No. You're like, space is cool. I already knew that. I don't need to watch that on TV.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Cochina.
The dabs.
There's no talking once the torch shows up.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that tastes like a cruise ship somehow.
I thought you were using a pen for a dabber for a second there. I was like,
no,
oh
this
my God.
Spaceman gave me this. It's got moldavite on top, so that I guess this rock was from space.
There you go.
Oh. So like I used to
I love moldavite. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's from space, right? Like
yeah.
I used it to scoop all my dry
Czech Republic
stuff.
or what?
Yeah,
that's where it all comes, right?
Yeah,
all crashed into there. Cool stuff.
What was there before? So yeah, I scoop all my dry sift with it with the moldavite end, so it's like space.
Dust. Yeah.
So I don't need to watch Cosmos. That's my coming back to the point. I know about moldavite. I don't. Think
I remember that.
That was
one of those nights when I was, when you're sitting by yourself, getting real high and watching a documentary, and then like mind blown, and there's no one to tell about it, and you're like, But and then you have to remember the
now
next
you have
day.
Facebook though. Now you just
No, I wouldn't. I don't care about Facebook.
But I know what you're talking about.
Oh, triple week. Broke it, and wow, that was live. Get quick,
dude.
Broke. Yeah, broke it.
It's good.
Smashed it.
Smashed
Destroyed
it. That's why I make unbreakable pieces. Because
that was not a sound effect either.
No, that was
exciting.
This is what happens when we don't have a soundboard.
Broken on the air.
Live execution.
That was live. Anyway, so I was
That was
saying,
fate.
when you're sitting at home and you're watching this documentary and your mind's blown, there's no one to talk to. I had that one night when I was watching it about, it was about meteors and comets and talked about basically them slamming into the earth and all the water. Actually, that's what it was about. It wasn't even about that. It was about water. And then it was about how water comes from everywhere in the universe. It all hits us. We collected it all, and now we have all these different types of water. You have structured water, and you have if you go, there's not just one kind of water. There's hundreds of kinds of water. So and there are obviously from different galaxies.
That's nuts.
So if you start to think about that, and you're like, wait a minute. So then, and the water just keeps going up and coming back and going up and coming
So
back.
it's stuck here and it's
being,
mixing and
being
it's-
recirculated.
Yeah.
So technically, that is like the reality. And the thing is, if you think about it as the ultimate solvent, it is.
Yeah. And
It's
the
not
basis of all
solventless.
life on Earth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wait a minute, this is pretty nuts. You know what I mean? So then I started like tripping out, going looking at water, trying to figure it out,
Holding water.
Is this water different? but just in general, realizing that's where it all came from.
Was this like a legit documentary?
Yeah, it was totally legit. And it was basically, you are Stardust and we were all
It was
made
that
from,
thing, yeah.
And then it was like, but it blew my mind. I swear after that I was just like, I never thought of water the same. You know what I mean? I always thought like, where did all the aliens, so that some of that water must be like,
There's like weird alien radiations that we don't know how to detect. Yeah, like vibrations and shit. Yeah.
and then also just even in sea life in general, like when you start to think about
all the weird aliens in the ocean.
you're
Yeah.
like, those are aliens. You know what I mean? Those are pretty much
There's-
there's every, and those are little specks and pieces of animals and creatures from other planets probably,
Right.
who never would get out of the water, knowing that we're here. But they've got their they've got their deal going on.
Dude, and
down
all
there.
those like little creatures are the sort of things that like they don't breed. They just break in half. So like they could get crash here from space, you break in half. Now there's two.
Yeah.
We've got different water around here, from El Dorado Springs to by Black Hawk.
But you mean like different, like actual
structures,
fundamentally,
Yeah, it's
like
totally
what the
different.
water is.
Yeah,
Totally
different densities, different
pH, different mineral levels.
and it's like there's you've heard of structured water, right?
Right. So that's not a scam.
And
is what you're
cluster
telling me.
water and
Right.
cluster water.
All this
and
is legit, like
there's
structured
real
water
things.
and
Yeah,
all
there's
this?
real. I mean, it's you can see they're lined up or they're not.
Right, but I mean, like end result does anything different?
Hard to say. It's one of those things. I mean, if you just take water in general and think about how many unhealthy people there are out there. I mean, I'm the worst example. I don't drink enough water.
No.
I'm terrible.
And
but
even though there's water in beer, it's not it counts as beer, not water.
Well, water is in beer and coffee, so I'm covered.
And milk.
Yeah,
I'm
but
covered.
both of those, like the alcohol and the caffeine, make you drink twice. It's like a black hole of water.
Oh yeah, and then you wake up in the morning. Yeah, I know. But
where's my coffee?
What you do notice is when you do take the time to actually drink a nice glass of water, you literally feel better after one glass. Like you're like, this is the ultimate cure.
You're like, oh, my nose isn't clogged. And
I mean, it's just a lot of times that's a simple thing. It's like we just run around and dehydrated and not realizing it the whole time.
I do think smoking dehydrates us. Like our lifestyle, I think is extra. Not only like the
Extra
beer,
dehydrated. Yeah, dehydrated.
Dabs seem like the sort of thing that are not going to help you keep water in your body. I feel like they're going to like seal you from having water in your body.
Yeah, no, look at Vinny's looking at his bowl.
Buddy, I'm sorry, Vinny.
Oh, it was perfect chip though. So we're good.
Yeah,
perfect chip.
We'll get someone.
You did a really good job. You're not going to fix that.
No, that's fate. Right
that's
there.
done.
It's fate.
Finished.
We should execute a piece every show, 15 minutes before the end.
Hell, you almost did it again.
Sheldon will be
10 minutes before the end. 11 minutes before the end. So 420. I want to keep just talking about that while we have like 5 minutes left.
Sure, 420.
The whole month of April, really. Like, it's crazy. It's in the air. The news cameras are here. It's getting exciting. The question is, will Denver like meet up to the expectations of the whole friggin' world now that weed's legal?
I wonder. I mean, we'll do fine.
Well, Hood Lab
we'll
exceeds expectations. If you don't know what the leaf blower is and you weren't listening last week.
Yeah, no, we'll exceed all expectations there. But in general, it's I think it will, because like if you looked at last year, where you could take it any way you wanted. You could stand there and say, "Oh, look, it's a mess. There's too many people," but and people would complain it was too crowded, etc.
There was garbage on the street after. Yeah.
But still, for the most part, I didn't hear much backlash at all.
Yeah.
And at the end of that, we really thought like, "Oh, this is going to be rough," because of there was a lot of
cleanup,
hoopla going on, and then in the end. I mean, that's the other.
Down there and clean that
that's the other thing about cannabis in general is we have this built-in defense of forgetting every single thing that ever happened to us up until that point, because that's what cannabis is really good at. So we're like, oh yeah, what happened? Oh, it's terrible. Whatever. We'll move on. Yeah. And I think this year is going to be, because now people can legally go and buy cannabis. That was a big difference last year. It was like kind of we were in a weird state. We're like, okay, here's all these people coming from out of state. We can give them weed. Here, have some weed, but that's not going to last.
There's
forever.
Obviously a limit to that.
That ain't going to go on forever, is it? And now they have a chance they can actually go through all of those things, which is
that's what makes it the cup.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's the whole cup. That's why Amsterdam was always so special, is that, it wasn't like you had to be treated like a baby and like, here's your weed and here's your thing and now go do this. It's like you go out as an adult on your own, walk around, explore the city, get lost, lose all your stuff, whatever,
get mugged.
But that was part of the adventure.
Yeah, no. Amsterdam is like a Dungeons and Dragons game,
right? So now I think what's going to happen is, there is much. I mean, unfortunately, we still can't smoke on the premises, but still there is at least a crawl to be done. You can go from A to B to C, go hit up all the shops, so you don't have to sit.
Well, and in the you
that
don't want
one spot. You know what I mean?
When you're that dude and you're at like gray area and there's like 500 people lined up blocking the street, you don't want to be sitting on that little you don't want to smoke in the shop.
Exactly.
Take it, go to the cup, and that's the fact that people are going to have their own weed at the cup is actually really exciting this year. It's a whole different game. So that changes everything. But do you think like Denver's infrastructure, will there just be like buses full of dabbed out tourists, restaurants with not enough food to sustain all butane shortage, a shortage on butane
shortage,
in the whole Rocky Mountain area?
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some sold out goods at the end of the week, that's for sure.
I'm very interested to see those like weird, unexpected impacts. Yeah, we know people are going to smoke a lot of weed. We'll have a lot of weed, a lot of oil, but there's going to be runs on things. Buy a few master cases right now, because that's a good investment, I would say.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be like the hand over fist, people trying to get what they can, and there's no way to keep up with that amount of people for a whole week.
Like Denver's not used to that. How many people does like Great American Beer Fest bring? Can we pull those numbers up? Because we know, like, okay, Coors Field fits probably about the same amount of people, and they're all pretty much from Colorado, But like, what a Great American Beer Fest is that 100,000 people, and that like takes over friggin' Denver, and
probably.
Is this the equivalent? Like, how many people come to town for Democratic National Convention when that was here? How big is this in terms of Denver? Is my question, because Denver's like, it's not New York City. Like, it can't handle.
There's a limit.
Yeah, and the big difference is like, dude, everyone wanted to go to the Amsterdam Cup, but like you kind of had to nut up. That was an expensive. Like,
it
you're
was
saving
a goal
for
and
that.
a dream.
It's it's a pilgrimage. It's like the trip to Mecca for sure.
Yeah.
Denver's not Mecca.
It's a car ride, guys. Come on.
You
can get here. And that's what I think is like, what I was thinking last year was, wouldn't it be awesome to have like a GPS, like an overview of all the cars headed towards Denver? Like, if you could just have everybody turn on your GPS now, we want to see a view, and you could see, it would be like a convergence, a crazy convergence of everybody coming in.
I bet it would like follow the same model as how ants converge, if like the numbers and ratios would all be the same as nature.
Probably
cool. We got like 6 minutes left.
6 minutes left.
What you want to talk about?
You're supposed to show some throw out for Aaron White up in San Francisco. Got the big show coming up this weekend for him. Should be good.
Oh, Aaron White in San Fran. Nice.
Yeah,
That's if you're in the San Fran area. I actually
Saturday. This Saturday.
Travis is going to be there. I'll send him there.
Awesome, Aaron White.
Dude, he's like
coming back to Cali. He's a Cali guy originally, but he's calling all of his peeps from everywhere to come converge onto the Hood Lab San Francisco 1669 Hate. Saturday, 7 o'clock. It's going to be some sick new pieces. He's been working on them. It's one thing. Aaron is like it was our second show we did here in Denver. Right? In Denver,
and can I tell you my favorite when I was doing your guys' old website and shit? That was my favorite art that I got to look at.
Aaron's a bomb. He's a true bohemian artist. His dad was a bohemian artist. He's got that vibe. He is your ultimate artist. I can tell you.
If you want to hang out with an artist,
he's your guy. Yeah. He's such a good guy, and he's a true. He's got that whole struggling artist thing for forever.
It's so unique.
Yeah, but awesome gear and like some of the sickest stuff. And he's been in Juxtapose a lot. They took out some ads in Juxtapose, which is awesome.
Yeah,
stepping our game up over there. So anybody in San Francisco, West Coast.
Oh wait, the Hood Lab has ads in Hood Lab San Francisco. That's some money. Yeah, boy, making the moves.
Yeah, full page ads, and that's awesome because that's the thing is the connection of art and weed is obvious to all of us.
It's like art and music,
but
weed and music, and that triad.
Exactly, and then the cool part is it's like how I liked, if you can go in a room with one thing at the Hood Lab is awesome. We can have people of every age, every style of person, and we all meet up. And we have a very good common ground, and that's the cool part with art, music, and cannabis. They all kind of blend together.
Fashion.
You teach people a lot too. Someone comes there to see the art. All of a sudden, they're introduced to some new music, or the other way around.
Right.
And it's like that's kind of where we're at, and we think that's where the future's at for the scene.
That's culture.
Andy Warhol calls it fashion, art, music, and entertainment.
Fashion's the other piece, and that's Hood Lab. I mean, that's what Hood Lab is. It's fashion is they're hemp tailors. I like the hemp tailors. By the way,
you like that? That was my partner Doug came up with that one. That was a good one.
Nice.
Since 1993, of course.
Yeah, the heritage piece. That's like I was thinking this morning. I was like, man, Incredible's 5-year anniversary is the first day of the Cup this year, and none of us realized. We should have a cake or some fucking thing. I don't know.
It's amazing how many anniversaries slip by you without you paying attention. Sometimes you'd be like, people are like, yeah, it's your 20th anniversary. We didn't even do nothing. It's like 20th anniversary. Come on, guys. So yeah, it is.
We've been doing this for 20 years.
It goes quick. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Speaking of time flying, we got 4 minutes left.
4 minutes and 20 seconds.
Shout the sponsors again.
I just did the sponsors.
Did you? All right.
We're gonna have we better go back to the Balls Out 90 Days Empire.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
You want to book anything Monday through Friday? We got a deal.
Actually, what I'm doing, here's my deal. If you live here in Colorado and it's your birthday and you want to celebrate your birthday at the Hood Lab,
and that's the way you want to celebrate.
As long as it's officially your birthday, I don't want you coming in on a Saturday and your birthday's on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
So you show me your ID. It's on that day. We'll do a 420 special, 5 hours. We'll supply drinks. Who knows what else we'll supply?
Yeah, party supplies.
You'll
will
be supplied.
Yeah.
420 specials. Just bring your ID. Make sure you're over 21.
And I rolled through the lab. What was it, Saturday when I went to meet you there? And there was a whole lot of people I didn't know.
Yeah.
Having an amazing time.
I think it was a Sunday, wasn't it?
Whatever. Yeah, Sunday. Yeah. I rolled through and I was like, I don't know who these people are, but this is a real party here, and I don't know any of them. Nice.
The classic thing too is that now we know we have to leave the Hood Lab. Every single person who walks in just says, "Man, this is the most amazing place." Of course it is. We have to leave. That's how life is, But it doesn't matter. We are announcing that we are gonna find a better place. We're on the hunt, and there's no way we're gonna downscale. We're only gonna get bigger. So
only up.
Anybody that was with us on the last move understands that. Big moves, changes, things like that, they're scary, but they usually work out in a good way. And this one, we're going to make sure it works out good. Because we got gear coming in September, so we can't be messing around and having no spot. So we also got new fresh gear coming in about 2 weeks, too. So if you need to, brighten up your wardrobe and get ready for the Cup with all your new fresh hemp gear, hurry up because that stuff's going to sell real fast. We don't have a big order. We took
and especially if you're not from Colorado and you don't have a hemp tailor in your town, you might want to go visit the only one in friggin' America, as far as I know.
Yeah, come through 3354 Larimer for at least the next 90 days, and we are there from approximately 1 o'clock because I don't usually get there too much earlier, but about 1 o'clock till 8 o'clock at night. So come on through, and like I said, keep an eye on what we're doing this next couple weeks with the Cup.
Yeah,
because it'll be ever evolving, and then obviously listen to us here every week.
11:30 to 1:30. We're losing our steam. It sounds
no, because we got huge, gigantic.
We got 2 minutes.
Tokens are back in effect.
Oh yeah, tokens will be in effect.
Tokens. What are tokens for?
The tokens.
Yeah. I know
Tokens.
But how do they translate? You can use them for, and how do you get them? And explain this to people.
Well, we are a token culture down at Hood Lab, so everything is with tokens, except for the big items, of course. You can pay with those with cards.
Right.
But as far as drinks and things like that, we like to use our little wooden tokens. And if you have them from last year, bring them back through.
Nice.
They're still good.
Still valid.
Valid forever.
Nice.
Forever.
They don't expire.
Nope.
420 never ends here.
Exactly. The never-ending 420 sesh. So, yeah, like I said, bring your tokens, head back to the Hood Lab, get ready to jump on dad
If you
buses.
are lucky enough to have an April birthday and you aren't Hitler,
April
then have a birthday at the Hood Lab.
Well, his birthday would be messed up anyway because it's on
Dude,
420. We can't.
How pissed would he be? Well, so Easter 420, we could talk about that.
Oh, quickly, Easter 420, yes. Well, it's actually, I found out too, which is really amazing. It's not only just regular Easter.
Is it Russian Orthodox
it's
Easter?
Greek Easter too. And probably
Same time
Russian,
as regular
yes.
Easter? Dude,
It only happens once in a while.
That's like really weird that's on. That means like this is really Easter. This is the
it.
first time it's ever really been Easter.
Well, yeah,
it's
for a while.
obviously
Yeah.
really 420 because it's legal.
Yeah.
This is
crazy.
like Mayan Prophecy 2.0.
Yeah.
If you didn't believe it then.
Yeah. No, we need a character now too. I told you last time we need like the all-encompassing character.
We don't need that messed up character.
We do. We need it. We need the Pope hat and the rabbit head with the Hitler mustache.
You know, I know some people who
and the
might
trench
be into
coat.
that at the Cup.
Wow.
And the trench. Wow.
The
You
Columbine-
went there.
Yeah, the Columbine trench
I
coat.
told you we were winding down as we. In
420
Colorado,
is a
too,
crazy
They
year.
take it seriously.
I know.
here, man.
420 is a stupid, weird day sometimes, isn't it?
It's just like one of those things
then
where
they-
it's like a paradox vortex type
and then
thing.
and then the oil spill, 420.
Dude, tons
420
of
oil
didn't,
spill.
Didn't Waco
the
happen
Gulf.
on 422? 419? Like it's right then, dude. There's something.
So last year we went for what, 6 days, 7 days?
Last year we went for all. This year we're going to go about 5 days. I think we're not going.
This year's like 13 days.
Well, it is and it isn't. I mean, we're not.
It is and it isn't.
It is.
We're not-
It sounds like Vinny's been there more recently than you, and he's saying
Isn't
it's
it?
too-
Like, well, yeah, it's booked for like
kind of booked
till the 21st.
Yeah.
But go down there for your birthday parties in your
Everything parties.
Everything.
Wednesday.
Would you
Anything-
do it if someone showed up with like their marriage certificate? They got married at City Hall in Denver on 420, and they showed you their marriage certificate.
Oh,
Would
hell
you?
No, at 420
On 420, or like they showed up the next day to do their
until
party.
420 is covered, dude.
No, after
can get
like the
married
day
there on
after the
420.
honeymoon, part of like a honeymoon party.
If that was their honeymoon, yeah, I feel bad for her, but yeah, sure,
Yeah,
come on.
What if
through.
she loves it? Chicks love weed now, dude. It's different.
Yeah,
it's
you
not the
gotta-
same as it
nah,
used to
well,
be.
This is
There's
your
certain
honeymoon?
ones, I guess.
But honeymoon, there's going to be people honeymooning to Denver for this. I guarantee it.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude, this is that's what we just brought the mountain to Muhammad to go back to the Mecca thing. We were like, oh, you can't make the pilgrimage to the Cup? Here it is, right here. Come on down.
Yeah.
Are there are cool hotels? There are not cool hotels? Do we
They're
know?
building a hotel, I heard.
Yeah, there's
I
rumors
heard.
of one.
I heard there's a cannabis-friendly hotel being built.
Yeah, there definitely needs to be more than one, unless you have like a 60,000 person hotel. Which
Yeah,
would be
yeah.
awesome in like a 60,000
it's
person
not
weed
being built
hotel.
for
I
this
would hang
cup.
out
It's
there.
not being built for this cup.
There's always the rule: don't be dumb.
Don't be dumb. Don't. Yeah.
Try to get a balcony if you can. That's the
I
key.
heard there was one place you can go and you could get like a package with the PAX vape or some vape that they want you to use and they want you to vape.
The 420 tour.
There you go. But do you? I can get them on the show next week if you want. But do you
Probably
really,
should have them just start talking about what's going down because stuff said next week is really it.
Next
man.
week's when it's like do
It's-
it, and then
and-
after
and
that,
then
are we going to do the show the week of 420?
Of course.
We're going to do the 418. I don't know if you're going to be tied up at the lab. You got.
I am. Doesn't matter. I will always do the show, right?
Dude, it's Empire Records, dude. Empire Records.
Empire Records. Huh.
That just came to me like 20 minutes after I cracked the initial.
There you go.
Well, that's why we have a radio show.
All right. So how's your little segue and your little notes there?
I mean, we covered
your
everything.
notes are covered, right?
Yeah, it's 1:33. What time do we start?
Scribble Scrabble's been done.
Hold on, wait.
We love our
Thank
sponsors.
everybody for watching the show,
Yes.
and we will catch up with you guys next
Catch
week.
up with you next week. Shout outs again to all the sponsors, and we love you guys. Oh, my High Times article. It's on the stands.
DJ Nick.
There you go.
There you
it's
go.
not technically on the stands, but they have them in the store.
Digitally on the stands.
No, but like
I get the digital.
Do you know how the
version.
magazines work? How like it goes out on the second Thursday or like the whatever. So when they have them in the back now.
They're ready
Go
to be
check it
shipped.
out.
Ready to be shipped.
Living Organics in the.
You have some fake name,
bookstores.
pen name, or what?
No, dude, real name. I'm the first. Dude, I'm putting it out there. Like they don't know.
Like they don't know.
Now here I am on the radio.
Yeah.
You have a fake name? Did you ever have a fake name?
Sage Master, but that ain't a name, is it?
Yeah, it's like a.
That's like a.
It's like a
tag.
title.
It's a tag. No, I never. As a kid, yeah, but not as a. No.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
So
too cool.
Well, here we are.
Too cool for nicknames.
Yeah. So here we are, and using our real names, and Adam Dunn over there.
Peace out, everybody. See you next
Signing
week.
off. See you
See you at
next
the
week.
lab. Book your party.